Alright, it's egg time. Yo, it's good furries. How you doing? Evening. Suppose it's quite late for you, right? If you're, Netherlands. I figured I'd squeeze in a light stream because I don't have work tomorrow, so... We've got a national holiday tomorrow, so... Why not? Good one, Speed. Yeah, it's good, Turbo. Welcome in. That was magical, Speed. Thank you for sending me that. Isn't it bedtime for you, though, buddy? Yeah, I couldn't agree more, to be honest, Freeze. We are literally doing egg grinding, so... If this isn't some of the most boring content, I don't know what is. But... Everyone I speak to's gone to bed because they'll have work, so... I figured why not squeeze a stream in. Talk you to sleep. That is a crazy comment. I could sing a very off-key lullaby for you, if you'd like. Yeah, it'll probably just be like a couple of hours, Turbo. I don't think I'll be on too late, because I went to a flea market this morning, so I woke up quite early. But I'm not ready to sleep yet, so here we are. Yo, it's good, Riley. How's your weekend going? I caught up most of the way on the VOD. I think I'm on the last set of 7. ASMR I catch and stream. I don't know about ASMR varies. That might be a step into the too weird for me zone. I got absolutely nothing, Turbo. There was a couple of, like, bits that I maybe could have picked up. Like, there was a black Wii with the GameCube ports on the top. But, like, they wanted a bit too much for it. And then I found, like, a really cool old Dragonair card. It was, like, a weird... I'd never even seen that type of card before. It was, like, a 1998, like... I don't even know how to describe what it was. It was, like, a really odd card. It was a Pokemon card, but not, like, the standard how they look. But the guy wanted, like, stupid money for it, so again, I didn't buy it, but there was some interesting stuff, though. To be honest, I don't really need a lot more for the collection in terms of Pokemon stuff. Like, I'd like to pick up an XD at some point. But, like, outside of that, I don't really need anything else. Montana said I sound like Andre the Giant. I'm sure she said that, Speed. I'm sure she said that. I'm sure she knows who Andre the Giant is. Everything old in Pokemon? Yeah, that's true to some extent, Turbo, but like the guy was asking for like way above the value of the stuff. Like the Wii was like somewhat reasonable, but the card was like way above market value because I'd never even heard of it, so I searched it on eBay. And it was not worth that much. I feel like when you've been shiny hunting for a while, you're quite lucky in that you have a lot of the games you want already. So, like, I bought a lot of my games for my collection, like, before the prices just went insane. So I don't have to worry too much about all the other stuff. Like, there's a couple of things I've been buying recently that are, like, now very expensive. Like, I bought the, Jirachi bonus disc for Colosseum. But there's not a lot of stuff that I really need to pick up anymore. XD is probably the most expensive thing I've got left. Your collection's pretty much set, just want the dang bonus disc. Yeah, the bonus disc is pretty expensive. I picked up the Celebi bonus disc like years back, and I absolutely scammed like some people for that. I think I paid like £20 for the Celebi bonus disc, which is worth in excess of, it's probably like 150-ish. Yeah, it's interesting that you're also missing XD Turbo. I think XD is pretty rare though as a game comparatively. I know the PAL version of XD is quite expensive, and the US one's expensive as well. It's a bit cheaper than the PAL one, but it's still pretty expensive. You put some bids in for a few things that were relatively cheap. To be honest, I'm not really much of a bid person anymore. I just like to kind of buy it now and just know it's mine. I used to bid on a lot of stuff like years back when I was first collecting, but I'd rather just buy it and have it nowadays than have to keep checking back in on it. I've been listening along to all the videos of Reese while I've been at work last week as well. You've been keeping me company while I've been working. It's nice long form content to just like kind of turn on, you don't have to worry about finding anything for a while. You got XD recently, Vreeze? Nice, it's a good pickup. I'm not a massive fan of XD because I have like no nostalgia for it whatsoever. I had the game when I was younger, but I didn't really play it. So like XD is the last one I picked up just because I don't really care that much for it. I'm sure once I play it, I'll probably change my opinion, but right now it's not at the top of my priority list. It's just something I'll pick up if I see a good offer for it. You really want another copy of Emerald, a Japanese version? Turbo, like back in the day, I don't know, 2019 and prior, Japanese Gen 3 games actually cost nothing. I got my Japanese Emerald for, I think it was £8 with shipping. Like, they were giving away Japanese games back in the day. Like, Japanese Ruby Sapphire was just, you could buy them in bulk for like £5 each back in the day. Inflation's hit the Japanese market as well, unfortunately. They've realised that no one can afford the English versions of the game and everyone's buying the Japanese versions as a substitute. So now they can raise their prices on that, because there's way more demand than there used to be. I think Emerald's definitely a game that's worth having 2 copies of, in my opinion. But then again, it is the best Gen 3 game, so it makes sense. I got another absolutely diabolical Charmander a couple weeks back. I know I told Riley about it, but I got another one that was perfect, except it had 31 HP instead of 30. So it has hidden power electric again. Which is very, very, very depressing, but it is what it is. Might have to change my target, Riley. I'm so good at getting hidden power electric. I find it really interesting that I've got 31 HP twice now. But I can't get 30 HP even though one of my parents has 30 HP. But either way, I guess HP is the most likely one to just be a roll. Yeah, exactly, Riley. Everything's a hustle. And, like, you can't even really blame people either because everyone's just got it so rough. Like, everybody's just broke at the minute. So, like, it makes sense why everything's become a hustle, but it does drain some of the joy out from just collecting and just enjoying it as a hobby. It's the same with Pokemon cards, and this is what I was saying. I went to a flea market earlier. There was a binder that had, like, a bunch of old cards in them. Not like old, but like the Gen 3 era of cards. So all of your Ruby Sapphire style cards. And cards that don't even sell for that much on eBay, like just regular holos, probably like, I don't know, £5 on eBay. They're all like £10 in this binder, or like £15. It's just a bit, you can't really get a good deal anymore because everybody knows how much everything's worth as well because of eBay and Amazon and just seeing all these prices online. It's very, very hard to get good deals nowadays. It's very easy to shop around and see what something's worth. You might be getting Korean heart gold. There's a shiny hunter that I know, Cabbage, who's massive on collecting Korean versions of games. I'm not sure that they're... I don't know if they're all cheap or not, but he has like pretty much a full collection of Korean games. Even like Gen 2, where it was like quite rare from what I understand. Found some cheap battle revolutions. Yeah, I don't really touch Gen 4, so I'll pass, but I'm sure someone will find that useful. Unfortunately, I'm perma-stuck in Gen 3 because it's the only thing I actually like. And don't get me wrong, I like Gen 4 as a game, but I couldn't see myself playing Gen 4 the same way I play Gen 3. Kind of day in, day out. Like maybe I'd hop in there and do something at some point, but I don't know, probably not. I hold on to the games because they're so expensive now. And I'd hate to have to rebuy them. I am. It is unfortunate, right? I'm stuck by the absolute sheer quality of the game. It's one of the best problems to have. It's called first world problems. The thing is, as a shiny hunter, the game has basically infinite content to me. If you're not multi-hunting, like tons of systems, you're never really going to run out of hunts to do in Gen 3. Unless you lose the motivation to shiny hunt, and I've just been shiny hunting for so long now that it's just part of my routine. Yo, what's good, Jose? And Cabbage, welcome in. I was just talking about you, Cabbage. We were discussing Korean games. I was just saying you've got pretty much the full set. The omelette is not going particularly well, I'll be honest, Jose. We are getting baited left, right, and centre by these eggs, but it's part of the game. It wouldn't be as fun to me to get the 5 IV eggs if they weren't incredibly hard to get in the first place. I saw you were live again earlier, Cabbage. I don't know if you still are or not. How's the Manectric coming along? Are you still trucking away on that, or have you got lucky yet? Or finished being unlucky yet? We'll count it, Riley. It's special attack, but we'll count it. It is 5 IVs. I mean, I should show you this, Riley. I'll show you the 5 IV reject pile. Where we go in here? We've got a few rejects. I can't remember where the... Ignore the seas of crap. This is the Hidden Power Electric reject, so this one's technically 5 IV, as in fake 5 IV. Then this egg here, I unhatched the second one, so that's the Hidden Power Electric one that's also 5 IV. And then there should be a Bagon floating around that I used for... that had special attack. I ended up using it as a parent for Phoebus. Don't know where that bad boy is, though. I surely wouldn't have deleted it. Maybe I moved it to my other game. Probably did. Yeah, all those Charmanders Turbo are the ones that had the perfect base stats at level 5. So all of these have all been leveled because they all had the perfect spread at level 5. Same with like all these boxes pretty much. They all had perfect base stats. So this gives you some idea of how horrible the process is. You get a lot of like getting baited. Like there's just pages of this. Like they're all just leveled up and just pure bait. Don't spend too long searching through the Sea of Despair though. Let's get back into trying to get the actual one. Yeah, if I was smart, Riley, and I planned my team out first, I could have been a lot more efficient, I think. Like, figuring out which Pokemon could have crossbred and just stealing parents to use for other parents. I'd definitely recommend that to people if they're planning teams, is think about what order you're doing them in. Especially if you don't need egg moves and it doesn't matter about... Like, you just need a male with good IVs and you don't need the egg moves. You can really, like, sneak some of the process out by just crossbreeding across egg groups. You're doing a Battle Arena run, Jose? Which one's Battle Arena? Is that the one where you... I should really know the answer to this. Is that the one where it picks the moves for you? I basically haven't touched the frontier outside of the factory and the tower. I've never done Dome, I've never done any of the other facilities. I did Tower for ribbons for a couple of Pokemon, and then I just got the factory gold. Ah, Arena's the one with the 3 turns. Okay. That makes sense. Palace is the one where they pick their moves. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. I'll have to have a look at all of that when I'm going on to the gold medals. I basically know nothing about any of it. The only stuff I ever really watched was Battle Tower content and Battle Factory from LRXC, so... I don't really know a lot about the tower. Like, I know nothing about the pyramid pretty much, other than there's wild encounters. I don't really know anything about the Pike, other than what I've watched in Nighthawk's video he did. Which, to be honest, I don't remember a fat lot from that. And Arena, I genuinely feel like I know nothing about that at all. So it'll be fun to... bit of a learning process for some of the other facilities. I could be tempted to run some of those other facilities before I've got the team. Because I don't think I'd want to finish my gold medal on, like, the arena or the pyramid. I feel like I'd want to finish my gold medal collection doing tower or dome. Then again, I'd probably like to use the team for all of them, so I don't know. Palace is the only bad facility. I think the Palace is just terrible. Like, the one where it chooses your moves, which, from what you guys are saying, is Palace, I don't like the idea of that at all. It's just reliant on your nature, right? Which is just... ass. Like, I don't know why they would ever think it's a good game mode where you don't pick your own moves. It's basically just keep entering until you win. Just no skill at all, really. In my opinion. Arena is fun until you lose because of a judge. I don't know how the judging works on that. Like, I watched Vreeze's, or I don't even think I watched it. I think I listened along when I was at work about one of, I think you were doing Arena on something, right, with, what is it, Style, Body, and something else. So, I don't even really know how annoying that is yet. I'm sure I'll find out. You're going for Metagross, Latios, and Salamence. Call me Normie or try hard, you just want to get the symbol. I mean, that's fair enough. I think the most fun facilities are the ones where you actually get to kind of play normally. Oh, that one's good. That one's worth checking. Mind, Skill, and Body, that's the one. Oh, I'm in the wrong box because I was showcasing the Sea of Charmanders. I don't know where I got Starmie from reading that, Jose. Metagross, Latios, and Salamence. I feel like that's a good team, but at the same time, you're kind of weak to the thick water ices. I think stacking Latios and Salamence is probably not the strongest core in terms of overlapping weakness. I don't know yet, Jake. I might keep some of them for, like, potentially some hidden powers and passing them to other Pokemon. A lot of them will, unfortunately, meet the Incinerator, so... I have Pokemon Box, so I'll just trade them across into there and then delete the save file. So they will be yeeted out of existence at some point. It's the price we have to pay for perfection. Minus of the type of move, skill is if you land it or not, and body is HP. Interesting. So recovery Pokemon like Milotic probably are pretty good, right? Because you can just get your HP back up. Skill also has modifiers to super effectiveness and not very effectiveness. Okay. You know about the Starmie, but you bred one hasty for the past and you cannot find a good modest for the arena. Interesting. I forget which ones are the good, like, natures and which ones are the bad ones. 17. Okay, this one's worth leveling up again. Ah, interesting. So you have to perpetually attack. Okay. So surely something surely like Metagross is just the meta, right? It's just like a choice bound Metagross, it just beats whatever's in front of it. Because you only go to judging if you don't kill them, right? Another useless Charmander. That's another one for the Incinerator, Jake. You'll be happy to hear. You feel so bad emptying your boxes? I don't even sweat it. I need the PC space, they're getting eliminated, unfortunately. It's called survival of the fittest. Yeah, thanks, Blue Storm. I could do with some good luck on this, to be honest. We're, kind of getting baited left, right, and center at the minute. Why not use rare candies? I mean, I have rare candies, Jake. It's just... if I was to use rare candies, I would be soft resetting the game, so I'd have to keep loading my battle video over and over again in my session. And I just prefer not to do that, so... Like, I've got a few rare candies on this file. Or maybe it's on my other emerald, actually. I've got enough rare candies to, like, do what I need to do with them, but... I just prefer not to reset the game over and over again with the RNG. And I don't want to have to keep loading the battle videos up over and over again into the same spot. Like, yeah, you can make a new video at the end of each session, but... Maybe it's just a bit of paranoia, but I just like to keep my RNG rolling throughout. I didn't used to be against cloning, Jake. Like, I used to clone, like, luxury balls and stuff, but at some point it kind of lost its appeal for me, and I went back to just... kind of threw away all my clone stuff. I used to clone mainly luxury balls, to be honest with you. But then I went back and started grinding for them again properly. It just feels a bit more rewarding to do this stuff, like, fully legitimate. As I say, I used to be just mainly a shiny hunter, so I didn't really care about it that much, because I was just worried about, I want my shiny in the right Pokeball. But now I've kind of transitioned to, like, I want to make this, like, a really nice save file type thing as well, / completionist thing. So now I'm being a bit more strict with myself in terms of what I'm doing with the file. That's an interesting set, Varese. I suppose Ninetales outspeeds a lot of Pokemon as well, right? What is it, base 100 speed? Probably outrunning most stuff, so you can just dig. Do you not miss out on, whatever the damage one is, though, if you're not using attacking moves? Like, say you use dig for a turn, do you lose the not attacking bonus, or is that offset by them missing? Yo, welcome in as well, Shadow. Sorry, I missed your message. Releasing Charmanders into the wild of Hoenn is hilarious. Yeah, I'm just absolutely slaughtering the entire ecosystem of Hoenn. Invasive species. Again, the ecosystem must die for the success in the battle tower. It is what it is. No, it's fine to ask, Jake. No worries. You were watching my video earlier and meaning to ask if there was a separate reason. Yeah, it's just, to be honest, it's just a bit of paranoia more than anything. I could probably quite easily just do the rare candies and just record like, leave my game on overnight after each hunting session. And then record another video, but I don't like leaving my GameCube on overnight because the fans are quite loud in it. So I'd rather just level them up in the wild, and then I just take a video recording, like on my battle pass, at the end of each session, and then I just turn the game off for the night. And then I just load that battle video the next day, and I don't have to worry about, like, repeatedly loading the same battle video throughout the day. I kind of like the suspense of, like, leveling up the Pokemon as well. I found when I was doing Bagon, like, those last couple of levels when I was trying to sense check it, like, the build-up and the tension of, like, the level up, whereas if it's just a rare candy, it's just, like, ding and it's there. It doesn't hit quite the same. Come to realise that a lot of people in the community are looking for different things. Me, 5IV, Riley, 100th Battle Tower, Moki Ribbons. Yeah, true, Jose. It's kind of nice to see the spread of... Again, it just kind of shows the depth of the game, right? That everybody can have these different targets and just work towards them. There's a lot of crossover between... Like, eventually people will cover a few of those things, you know what I mean? Like, for example, for me, I've already done a lot of Gen 3 ribbon stuff before. I think it's almost like there's a few... If you hunt in Colosseum as, like, a shiny hunter, at some point you will end up doing ribbons, because you'll get yourself a Colosseum shiny and you'll get that extra ribbon for purification. And then once you've got that, it's like, well, now I really want to do the rest of the ribbons. So I feel like everybody that starts as a Colosseum shiny hunter ends up as a ribbon person at some point. And then to be a ribbon person, you have to do the battle tower. So there's some natural crossover between kind of targets and what you'll end up doing when you're going for certain things. I agree though, it's quite fun that everybody's got their own like quests going on and like everybody's speaking about random things. Like you had that little battle with the factory going on, Ryder's obviously fighting for his life in the the Ruby Sapphire battle tower. Vreeze is just playing around with different sets and doing some team building. It's kind of cool that everyone's just kind of doing something separate. I don't know if I asked you, Turbo, what are you working on at the minute? Yeah, agreed, Vreeze. Can't wait to do the Ruby Tower yourself with 3 shinies. Yeah, the Ruby Tower is kind of nice because it's got that... You can have pretty poor shiny Pokemon and you can still give it a solid attempt. Which is quite nice. You start as a VGC player who wanted a cool Pokemon on your team, now here you are. Yeah, everybody ends up sliding down the slope at some point. I think fighting for your life was a pretty accurate assessment, Riley, to be honest. I stand by my my previous comments. I watched back the VOD, brother. I saw the fights that were going on. I saw the struggling. I think that's just the team. You're always going to be fighting for your life to some extent with that team. Ended up being a Colosseum Sneasel. First shiny you ever hunted. I still think Colosseum Sneasel for your first shiny hunt is criminal. No warm-up, no anything, just straight into collar hunting. I mean, fair play, but... Yeah, I saw the 1 HP clutch roller. It'll be your introduction to a competitive scene in Gen 3. You'll go deeper into the Frontier and Emerald. Yeah, fair enough, Turbo. What else is on the team? Registeel and what's the rest of the squad? I've probably seen it in Riley's chat and just forgot, I'm gonna be honest with you. You'll have to remind me. Yeah, Cabbage. It's criminal. Straight into Colo Sneasel as a first shiny hunt. And then sometimes, Riley, when you do that, you end up drowning. Looking at you, Bastion. And the squad. You'll get there. To be fair, you're consistently getting, like, the high streaks now. I feel like you just need to not get, like, one of those teams at a bad time. It's, like, multiple threats on one team. And then eventually you'll tick over to the 100. I can feel it. That Metagross RNG as well was criminal. Like, you got kind of lucky with the rain dances afterwards when Ludicolo was just spamming them, but that initial kind of RNG was just criminal. Mence, Registeel, and Swampert. Yeah, that's a solid squad. I'd be tempted... What spread are you thinking for the Registeel, Turbo? I was just going to say, I'd be very tempted to invest more in Spadef on Registeel with that type of squad. Because Swampert's a very good physical defensive wall already, and Salamence is really weak. Like, Salamence and Swampert are kind of weak to, like, bulky waters. So, like, it might be nice to have a little bit more of the Spadef lean on the Registeel. Or are you just going to go for splits? Yeah, you can't remember everything, but I try my best to remember what people are doing if they're around a fair bit. Double mash boost, plus crit, plus quick claw. I always struggle with the The problem is, right, and we've said it a million times, Riley, is you're just so susceptible to crits. I feel like it's just always, like, a matter of time until something goes wrong. With some of these Pokemon that come out, it really is just prey. Like, when Oxide's out and you start setting up those boosts, like, you know in your heart that a crit is just, like... It's just the end. What's my favorite Pokemon? You see, I struggle with this question. Because Suicune's my favorite. Because my shiny hunt for Suicune just went for so long. And that was just such a big part of my time playing Pokemon. But I feel like using Suicune is kind of cheap. Because even with, like, rubbish IVs, it's so powerful still. Like, I've already done my battle frontier stuff with the Suicune, and like even with zeros and everything other than HP, it's just such a good Pokemon. Yeah, it's good, Adex. Love the video on Salamence. Made you interested in breeding for a shiny Leech Seed Trico in the future. Is there a way to make all eggs have guaranteed 31 IV and just 2 stats? There's no way to guarantee it, Adex, but if you have both parents with 31 and those 2 stats, you'll have a decent chance of getting at least one of them. You can't really guarantee that type of stuff without doing the egg. Like, I've done a fair few egg hunts, like, just regularly, similar to, like, what you're thinking of doing there, with just a couple of parents with, like, 30 or 31 and a couple of stats. And I think out of 8 or 9 egg hunts I've done, just regular egg hunts, only 3 of them got the nature, or maybe 4. And the only one that ended up with getting the 2 IVs I actually wanted was a Scyther. So your odds aren't great of getting both. It's pretty tough. Unless you want to do the really, really long method that I'm doing, there's no way to really guarantee it. And even if you get both of your stats, you're still at the mercy of your Everstone roll, which is a bit unfortunate. You try to avoid setting up with Oxide when there's a threat against them, that's why you swap to Bastion if, say, Machamp or Blaziken in his lead. One thing I was going to ask you, Riley, as just a general question, and I feel like I might have said it before, is like, when we go for Aerial Ace on, you know, like when you have in Bastion and you know that there's a chance they'll swap into like a fighting type, how you Aerial Ace. Why not Shadow Ball for the neutral hits? Is it just in case of Bright Powder? Is it because Heracross is so scary? Like, I feel like your Shadow Ball is going to hit more stuff for neutral-ish damage. Or, like, for higher damage, because obviously Shadow Ball is your 80 plus stab compared to non-stab Aerial Ace being just 60 base if it's not super effective. Because I was just thinking, like, is it worth it for some of the threats that are so scary to Aerial Ace in case you miss with a Bright Powder? Or, like, say Heracross where it's 4 times? Is it just that those are so scary that it's worth stacking your 4x odds? Yeah, it's pretty rough in Gen 3 ADX, to be honest. Your odds of getting your nature and 2 IVs is not great. If you're trying to also get it as a shiny. Unfortunately. Yo, it's good, Jacob. Welcome in. Best is to have 2 parents with special attack and speed and prey. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest though, if you're gonna get special attack and speed on both parents, you might as well just make them 3 IV and get Spid F as well. I would probably recommend doing that at that point. I don't think it's a massive time sink to get a 3 IV parent, especially if you're considering doing shiny eggs already. Because that's going to be a massive time investment anyway. And that way, even if you end up not getting, say, your special attack or your speed, at least then you might get a consolation prize. And those 3 are the ones that have your best kind of chance of passing down. Slash, it's not a massive time investment to get to the 3 IV stage, in my opinion. I don't remember if I saved or not, so I'm gonna save again, just to be safe. Yeah, there's some days where the Everstone just doesn't really want to do its thing, man. It can be pretty rough. But what can you do? I love these games, in part because they're so janky, so I'm not going to complain about the jank. Bingo, Heracross, and Breloom. Yeah, I probably figured. I feel like Heracross is just terrible for your team, right? It's probably nice to just get that extra damage on that. And I guess Breloom's Spore is also pretty horrible. You did some time EV training in gold this morning. You want to build a team, but you don't have a save with a game that's complete except Sun. Interesting. Those are interesting options that you've got Gen 2 and Gen 6 and nothing in between. I'd say you're missing the golden era in the middle, personally, Jacob. Gen 2's okay, but I think for me, the problem is it lacks the depth. Like, you don't have your natures, your abilities, and you do have, like, EV training, kind of. Just kind of lacks the depth, which is unfortunate. Oh, you have all the games, you just don't have a complete save. I mean, I'm very, very biased, Jacob. Gen 3 is just my absolute peak. Yeah, no worries, Idex. Gen 2's your start? I played Gen 2 as a kid, but it never really... Like, I played it, and then my battery died in my silver, and it wiped my save file, and then I basically just swore off Gen 2 ever since. And then when Gen 3 came out, I just saw no real reason to play Gen 2 ever. I think abilities and natures add such a big component to the game, and like how deep the strategy is for the game, and how many different things you can implement and types of teams you can build. Like, you just look at some of the weather stuff on some of the recent videos, like the sandstorm teams, stuff like that, where there's these niche strategies that just like exist around just abilities. Or like even things like levitate and other kind of really, I don't know, polarizing abilities, I guess. Or like intimidates, things like that. They really make a big impact on the gameplay. And how good some of the Pokemon are, or how viable some of them are. I think Gen 2 for me is just a bit empty when you're missing those things. Yeah, and Wonder God, Riley, indeed. Yo, it's good, remember. How you doing? I'm doing good. Doing good. I've got tomorrow off because it's a holiday in the UK, so doing a little bit of later night shiny hunting and streaming. I don't think I'd really call this shiny hunting, actually. It's kind of just IV grinding. The thing Shadow Ball hits better than Aerial Ace, and 9 out of 10 going to be things that Oxide can just handle anyway. I mean, I kind of agree, Riley, but also not, because every neutral mon, like, I'm thinking things like Swampert, for example, you're going to do 2x damage with a Shadow Ball compared to an Aerial Ace, if that comes in on you. So, like, I definitely think there is some use case for Shadow Ball, but I think if you're really worried about things like Heracross and Breloom, which I think you're rightful to be worried of those things, then it probably is still worth just maintaining the Aerial Ace. But I think you're underselling a little bit there, the power difference of an Aerial Ace versus a Shadow Ball, personally. It's literally 2x the power with Stab, if you're hitting something neutral. And if you're hitting something super for Shadow Ball, it's just, like, infinitely stronger. Which I know Oxide beats some of those Pokemon anyway, but even, like, the neutral ones just get hit way harder by Shadow Ball. Like a super, like take a Blaziken for example. Like you're doing the same damage of a Shadow Ball that you're doing with Aerial Ace, you know what I mean? So the only benefit you're really getting from Aerial Ace is those mons that A, Bright Powder miss, or B, like, where you want to hit 4x weak Pokemon. So I think, like, if you're really worried about the Heracross and the Breloom, it's worth it, but I don't know. I think Shadow Ball's a nice coverage pick. But maybe it's worth it for Heracross just because it is a bit of a struggle for the team fighting that. Yeah, it was good, Sherlock. Gen 3 is all you play as well. You own 2 Emeralds, which is nice. You got one early before COVID. Yeah. I was saying earlier, that's one of the nicest things about having been a shiny hunter for a while, is I picked up a lot of my games before the prices were what they are now, or like even close to what they are now. What's the holiday about? It's not necessarily like for a specific purpose, Jake. We just get days in the year. They're called like bank holidays in the UK, where they just give you a day off work as like a national. It's just everybody has that day off, basically. It's not like for a specific reason as far as I know. Other than just giving us the day off to have a day off. Completely valid. You got gifted Gen 1 and 2, and that's all you had for the longest time until 4 came out. You're partial to the breeding ease and the special split. Yeah, I think that's fair as well, Jacob. I think the physical special split makes a lot more Pokemon a lot more viable. But I think the flip side of that is there's some Pokemon that can only compete in Generation 3 because some of the other Pokemon are weaker. And when I say things like that, I'm thinking of like the power creep of a Pokemon like Gyarados in Gen 4 versus Gen 3 tells you like how far some of these Pokemon and the level of improvement some of them get from that split. And like, yes, it also ruins some Pokemon, so you're thinking about like, I don't know, Sharpedo gets a lot worse in Gen 3 because it can't access any of its stab. But I think the jank of no physical special split is actually kind of charming, personally. If you have Ruby, Sapphire, RSS. What is the second S in that list? Ruby, Sapphire, something, and Fire-Red Leaf Green on your pocket. Would you recommend Ruby, Sapphire, or Emerald? I would 100% recommend Emerald, Jacob. It's just the definitive best in the series. Like, Ruby Sapphire has its charm when, like, you're a kid and you play that first, and then you get Emerald afterwards, and you're a bit nostalgic for it, but if you're just going into it as, like, a new experience, Emerald is just the best by far. The post-game really is what makes Emerald so much better. Gotta love those random days off, especially if they line up with the weekend. A lot of the time they do, Turbo. A lot of the time they put it on a Friday or a Monday. I think, to be honest, I think exclusively they put it in Fridays and Mondays, now that I think about it. I don't think we ever have, like, they call them bank holidays because the bank decides, or I think historically the bank used to decide when they were closed. And that's when those days off would be. So, like, it's just every now and then you get some 3-day weekends, which is always appreciated. Bold Eevee female time, 4 boxes down so far. Nice, Riley, nice. Yeah, I was thinking about that when you were talking about how much of a challenge that is on stream, because obviously it's 25 natures, 1 out of 8 to get a female, and then you also need, presumably, are you just trying to get the bold female to breed the IVs and the egg move from the other parent at the minute? But like even that's 8 lots of 25, so it's not great. It's 200 eggs average. Agreed, Jake. It is nice that they give us some days off. It's really nice when you haven't got any, like, break booked from work for a while, and then you see, like, a bank holiday. It gives you that, like, breather to just, like, get that extra day off and recharge a bit. Oh, you meant RSC? Yeah, fair. Yeah, Emerald 100% then, Jacob, if that's on the board, for sure. Tauros is so good pre-Gen 4. Yeah, the power creep kind of got to the series, Shadow. I think Gen 4, so many Pokemon got so much more coverage because of not only physical special split, but also just they added a bunch more moves. So, it struggles to keep up with the new every Pokemon's fast and has a lot of coverage meta. Because the flip side of having that change, where every Pokemon has a lot of coverage now, is that Tauros is only really so good in Gen 3, because Normal is way better as a type in Gen 3 than it is in Gen 4 onwards. I'd say Gen 3 is probably the last generation where Normal Stab is, like, really scary. Because, like, past that, you're going to have specialized Pokemon that get way better stab, like your close combats and your, you know, just, like, way more moves that are just better, and you're looking for those super effective hits, whereas, obviously, your normal types attacks are going to be neutral at best. So, normal Pokemon really fell off post-Gen 3. Which is kind of another reason why Gen 3 is kind of nice. Because the normal Pokemon in Gen 3 are actually really good. Once you get the ball female, you'll be resetting via the motive method on the old man steps out. To be fair, I don't think I can really take full credit for that egg stepping out. There was a guy on my channel that left a comment about that, Riley. I didn't take a screenshot of his comment, so I can't remember what his name is. Let me go and have a look. We have to give credit where credit is due. It was a guy that does RNG, and he was telling me about it. In the we had a discussion about whether or not it would be worth doing for this hunt, or like for if it would speed up this type of hunt. Let's see if I can find his comment. Like, I knew about it, but I never thought about applying it, and that guy just like woke me up, and it was just like, yep, that makes a lot of sense. Let's see if I can dig his comment out quickly. So sorry, I'm gonna ignore chat for a minute. Driftwood. Oh wait, no, that's not the right one. He just has the same profile picture. There it is. Sargo. I hope that's how you pronounce it. He commented on the Salaman's video and was talking about applying that kind of strategy. The reason I kind of started the Charizard hunt, other than just I really wanted it and I wanted to play around with the hidden powers on this one, as like the next step of like, what can I mess around with by like perfecting and picking one specific egg, was I wanted to try that egg generation thing and see how much time it would save with a skewed gender ratio female. But I ended up getting the 4 IV female I needed so quickly I never even got to apply it. Which is equal parts very, very lucky and equal parts kind of destroyed the purpose of what I was trying to do. But overall I would definitely take it and I'm not going to complain. So I'll have to try it for another Pokemon at some point. Sargo's step out method. Yeah. You're lining up our bike path so it feels like we're holding hands. That is criminal. Oh, you know what they say, teamwork makes the dream work, Riley. Anything to make it a bit less repetitive and boring, I think. I've got so bored that I've got to the point where I'm like rotating what Pokemon I use as like my flame body. Because I actually have a few shinies I can use for it. I have this Camerupt that I'm using now. Which, to be fair, Camerupt is probably one of my favourite Gen 3 Pokemon. So I've been using this. I have a Magcargo that also has Magma Armor, I think. And then I've got a Magby that I hatched from an egg that also hatches. But I haven't used that one yet for any egg hatching. I recently found out that Camerupt gets Explosion as a move tutor move, which I never knew. So I've been very much debating with playing around with a Camerupt at some point as well. I just think that would be hilarious to just have a Camerupt just exploding on your team. Which, now that I think about it, makes a lot of sense that it has Explosion, because you know it's like a literal volcano. But I just never really clocked that it had that. Oh god, I just saw what you did there, Ryder. That was terrible. Magcargo. Get it together, Riley, will ya? Yeah, I mean, I'd love to use Eruption on it, but I just don't think it'll ever be that useful, because you're never going first with a Camerupt unless you have Quick Claw. And then you're going to take damage, which is going to weaken your Eruption. So I think the way to go would probably be like a Fire Blast or an Overheat and then just explode. Like maybe if you get a good like matchup into it, you can kill something and just try and explode. Or if you get a bad matchup, you just click Explosion, I guess. Yeah, Snorlax Jose, 100%. And I just realised we've got both the Jose's in the chat again, so that's going to get confusing for you guys again. So, sorry about that. Dark got so much love in Gen 4, it was a bit much in a way. Yeah, Dark's kind of rubbish in Gen 3, to be honest with you, Jacob. Like, it's good for Pursuit Trap against, like, Gengar. But that's pretty much it. Like, the only Pokemon that's really... There's only two Pokemon that are getting a great usage out of Dark type in Gen 3. And that's Pursuit T-Tar with Crunch and Houndoom. And even then, I'd argue Houndoom's Crunch isn't even that great. Like, yeah, it's probably the best Dark attacker in Gen 3, but even then, it's not... Like, I've used a Houndoom in the Battle Tower, and Crunch is not getting a lot of kills, I'll be honest. You kind of need that Fire Blast / Overheat extra damage boost to make it kind of consistently get some one-hit KOs. Yeah, I mean, Blue, when you get some shinies, you've got to find ways to use them in your other shiny hunts, because otherwise they just sit in the box forever. Unless you're doing, like, Battle Tower with all of them. Which, when you've been shiny hunting for a while, it's not really feasible to take all of them into the Battle Tower. So I try and find ways to use my shinies in my other hunts and my other activities where I can. HM Slaves, like Flame Body, Rock Smash when I've used that for other hunts, I try and use shinies to do it. Just kind of use them wherever I can. Meat chunks flying around after it explodes. That is a lovely image you put in my head there, Turbo. Does that mean by, like, the opposite thought of that is like a, say, like an explosion Registeel? It gets explosion, right? Not self-destruct. I think it gets explosion. Like, an explosion Registeel is basically just like a frag grenade if you think about it. Being the best Dark attacker in Gen 3 is like being the fastest guy with only one leg. I mean, that's so true, Riley, and especially when you consider the fact that one of those two Pokemon that I mentioned as being the only ones that actually get use out of Dark type is Tyranitar, where your special attack is like base 95, and your physical attack is base 134. Like, even picking, like, to be a special attacker to make use of that is already kind of, like, handicapping yourself a little bit. Like, it's only really good in ADV, like OU, like competitive, because you can pursue Trap Gengar. Like, I don't really think there's much of an argument to run a special... Like, if you're really trying to, like, optimize, I wouldn't really run a special T-Tar set. Like, maybe if your team's, like, really weak to men, split a bit of investment and run Ice Beam or something, but I think for the most part, you're running, like, a hidden... Like a Earthquake, Rock Slide, Dragon Dance, Rest type of set, you know what I mean? Or if you're not running Rest, like some other coverage move. Maybe like a Hidden Power Bug or something, I don't know. You're not really running a special T-Tar if you're like serious, unless you have like a hole on your team that you really need to fill. Again, if you're not worried about Gengar, like you are in ADV, there's not a whole lot of reason to run Pursued T-Tar. It's very rare the AI actually swaps out in Emerald, so you can't even... Because like with you in Ruby Sapphire, sometimes you know when they're going to swap. So like you could maybe see a bit of a use case for it, but in Emerald, the conditions for the trainer to swap out are a lot more strict. So it's very rare, and like even when they do swap out, you're very unlikely to know that they're going to swap out. So you would never really be clicking a 40 base power move for no reason. You want to use your Sinjo Palkia in a Platinum playthrough as a starter. That's quite smart, Cabbage. Yeah, I can see that. That'd be cool. I don't think your game will be a lot of challenge if you trade in a Sinjo Palkia, though, I will be honest. It's like, when Bino used the Wishmaker Jirachi as his starter for his DTQ. Like, you're not really gonna struggle to beat the game with, like, a full base 100 Pokemon, you know what I mean? You're probably just gonna sweep the game, but it's just fun to get some use out of them, isn't it, I guess? Even if you will find it easy. I mean, you'll be gaining boosted EXP, right, Cabbage? Assuming it's not... I mean, it will be a different Sapphire one, so yeah, you'll be getting boosted EXP as well. Who was it that was naming their... Someone was making an explosion Pokemon and calling it Shrapnel. Who was that? Your DTQ fight against Brawly took 20 minutes. Brawly is, like, hands down, one of the hardest gym leaders in Pokemon, I feel like. Like, if you're not over-leveled for that fight and you haven't just picked up, what's it called? A Sableye to just, like, completely wall him, like, you will get just, like, bodied by Brawly at some point. You say that, Jose, about catching a Reggie Legend and just making it explode. But the amount of Pokemon that run Explosion in the Gen 3 metagame, like, Explosion is so overpowered. It's such a good move. Another batch of useless to the meat grinder. Oh, that was it for easy. Yeah, I was thinking it was you, but I couldn't remember for sure. It was either you, or I was thinking maybe you recommended the nickname. I'm gonna go with Dean as that name. You'll have to tell me what I'm calling you if you're not Dean. But yeah, having a good day. Welcome in, welcome in. How you doing? We're just grinding some eggs, trying to hopefully get ourselves a 5IV one so we can go back to the actual shiny hunting. My other 2 5IV eggs are just sitting abandoned in my other emerald save at the minute. Brawley and Whitney. I always forget about Whitney because again I don't really play a lot of Gen 2, but yeah, that Miltank's pretty rough. I think now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if it's I think it's just Heart Gold Soul Silver, but the Cypher, like if you don't go for Quilava, so you don't have like a super effective move, that Cypher that has a U-turn really early in the game, that thing's pretty evil as well. Especially with, I think it gets focus energy, so it gets that, like, crit boost. It's not quite the same tier as the other ones, but it's pretty rough for an early game gym leader. It came down to Bastion, still an Nincada. Yeah, Nincada's not particularly strong either. Versus his Makihita, which is so iconic for your fight with how often Hariyama's up against Shedinja. Yeah, it was foreshadowing there, I think, Raleigh. You just hadn't caught on to it yet. Crawley's Makihita definitely had EV training and good IVs. It definitely feels like it, but I think Makihita's just, it's just got the right base stat spread for that level in the game where it's just so bulky. And then obviously they all rock bulk up as well, so it's just like trying to break that mon with the super potions, or I can't remember if it's super potions or just regular potions, maybe it's just regular potions. But like the heal spam as well, it just makes it rough. Ah, that makes sense, Reese. You recommended it, but also used it. Yeah, Glalie a bit of a weird mon, in my opinion. It's like trying to be like a Jirachi and a Celebi of like even stat spread across the board, but 80 base just isn't quite cutting it for anything really. Like 100 base for your Jirachis and your Celebis is like really nice and gives you like outstanding spread across the board in whatever you decide to invest in. And then like 80 across the board's kind of just like a bit underwhelming, to be honest. Like it's not really fast, you're not really hitting hard, you're not really that bulky. Like, it's just kind of like a jack of all trades, but master of none type Pokemon. Its main redeeming grace really is that it just gets explosion. Like, maybe you could do some Icy Wind, slow something down, and then, like, explode on it. Like, I don't even know. You're on your very first Heart Gold Soul Silver playthrough, and that Cypher caught you off guard. Yeah, if you pick Chikorita at the start and you have a Bayleaf for that fight, that is rough, man. You will get abused in that gym. Shiny Cyndaquil, yeah. That's like the Shiny Hunter starter pack. Hunting Heart Gold Soul Silver. That's how a lot of people kind of get into Shiny Hunting. It's just nice for bug Pokemon to not be shown as, like, useless. Because then, like, Gen 5, they really upped their game with, like, bug Pokemon. But, like, before there, like, the selection was a bit rough. Like, you've got, what? Heracross, Scizor, which is really bad. Kind of... maybe not really bad, but, like, it could be so much better in Gen 3. Like, it's really handicapped by its move pool, because, like, I'm pretty sure Scissor's really good in Gen 4, because then it gets Technician and, like, Bullet Punch, and gets, like, X-Scissor and stuff. I feel like prior to Gen 5, the bugs were a bit rubbish. It's basically really Heracross in Gen 3 that's pushing the bug type agenda. And then, like, I guess you could say Fortress in, like, comp, but as, like, a battle tower Pokemon, it's really not that good, in my opinion. Moody Glalie becomes an absolute weapon in Gen 7. Is Moody the one that gives you, like, +2 stats every turn, Riley? In, like, a random stat? That's the one that, like, B-Barrel gets as well, right? I don't think I ever used Mega Glalie at all, Jacob. When I played Gen 6, the only Megas I ever used, I used to love Mega Scizor. That was, like, my go-to pick was Mega Scizor every time. I just kind of got back into Pokemon and back into shiny hunting when Gen 6 came out. And I missuited a few Pokemon in that game, and Scizor was Scyther, I guess, was one of them. I had like a shiny Mega Scizor that I used to just bully my friends in online battles with. I mean, the thing is, Vreeze is, even if it got Mega Horn, it would still just kind of be worse Heracross. Like, I feel the fighting type, like, yes, it makes you weak to flying, but it gives you a rock resist, which is really nice. Yes, you're weak to psychic, but Heracross is pretty spadef bulky. I feel like Heracross Swarm as well is really nice. I don't know what, because what does... You get Hyper Cutter, right, on, I can't remember what its name is now, I'm already blanking on it, it's so irrelevant. Pinsir, that's the one. Pinsir is just terrible in Gen 3. Like, the move pool is just the worst thing ever created. Like, you're relying on Hidden Power Bug, basically. You have Hidden Power Bug, and then a bunch of fighting moves, which you don't get stab on. So they just do, like, no damage. It's just a very odd choice in Gen 3. Like, I suppose you get Guillotine, if you really want to, like, run the odds. But yeah, it's pretty rubbish in Gen 3, Pinsir. Getting Spikes and Explosion is the only good thing. I mean, even Spike's Vreeze is, like, questionable in the Battle Tower. Like, is a Glalie really gonna live long enough to get enough layers of Spikes up to make it worth it? Like, probably not. Maybe I'm just a Glalie hater, but, I don't really... I used it maybe once or twice in the Battle Factory, when, like, I had nothing good in my draft, and it was just consistently disappointing. So, I don't really have a very high opinion of Glalie as a Pokemon. Scizor was great, love Mega Kanga, and Gengar too. Yeah, I never really touched those ones, I just really liked Scizor. I thought Shiny Scizor was so cool, and like the Shiny Mega kept the color scheme, so I was a big fan of that. I think Kanga annoyed a fair few people with the, what was it, the double power-up punch. That was pretty dominating for a while, and then you had Fake Out as well, and the double Fake Out. Pretty horrific. Pinsir's so bad in Gen 1. I have very, very limited experience playing Gen 1. I maybe played it like twice. That's a Charmander worth checking again. Let's get rid of the rest of these. I'm gonna have to trade out a bunch of these Charmanders to box, I think, after today. I'm really running out of space on this file now. Alright. Let's hope it's not quite impressive. Gladly Head's justified, set up brain, explode, yeah, fair enough. I think if your only use as a Pokemon is kind of just set the weather, especially if it's not like an inherent weather setting, like it is with Tyranitar. Like if you have to click the move to do it, like that's just really not worth a slot. All steel types should be golden like Skarmory or Forretress. Forretress is a weird colour though. I don't really like it, to be honest, Jose. Like, I would have gone with, like, a more goldy colour. It's kind of that uglier, like, kind of greeny yellow almost. It looks like it's ill, is the only way I can describe it. I much prefer, like, your Skarmory or your Steelix. Forretress I'm not a massive fan of. I like how it looks in Colosseum a lot, but the main series did not do it justice. Flame or Parental Bond Facade, yeah, that just sounds diabolical. You see, I used to be of that opinion, Turbo, but I feel like Groudons grew on me a lot. I actually really like Groudon Shiny now. I'd probably say I like Groudon Shiny more than I like Kyogre's Shiny. Love Altaria's colour. Yeah, Altaria's nice. I just think, again, like, maybe I'm just a bit of a, like, Pokemon elitist, but, like, if a Pokemon wasn't great, I just didn't really use it as a kid. So, like, I don't have attachment to a lot of those, like, slightly worse Pokemon. Yikes, just no defense, no special attack, again. It's definitely 23 I need, right? Yeah, 23. Man, these Charmanders today have been rubbish. I think I've even had a 4IV one today, and I've been hunting literally all day. This one can get released. This one's just terrible. One thing that I liked with Flame Orb was it made Swellow really good. And I always loved Swellow, but it just wasn't... Like, it's got a niche in Gen 3 with, like, Endeavor stuff. But, like, Flame Orb Facade really made it, like, good. Not just, like, kind of there for the ride. What do I do when hunting at the moment? Mainly YouTube, just watch stuff, to be honest, Adex. Like, I've been on a bit of a kick watching kind of Gen 3. Well, I watch, like, Riley and Nostalgic Nighthawk whenever they post anything. But when they're not streaming or, like, doing anything, I've been watching a lot of, like, Gen 3 competitive content as well. It's kind of my pastime at the minute. That's the kick I'm on currently. I watch, like, I tend to VC with a couple of other shiny hunters as well, and I tend to just watch whatever they're playing and stuff as well. Like, Speed, for example, is always playing, like, GTA or something, and, like, there's another friend we have called Zausk who's always playing, like, Call of Duty Zombies or something in the VC, so I just like having, like, whatever they're doing on the other monitor while I'm just spamming eggs. Because it's not exactly the most interesting thing to do. Ah, that makes sense, Shadow, yeah, because it has to have the mega item, right? You were just telling Nighthawk about Guts, Flame Orb, Swellow? Yeah, it's really, really good. I think Swellow... I like Swellow in Gen 3, it looks cool. And then, like, Gen 4, they made it look, like, really cool. Like, you can find it in the wild with Poké Radar. And a couple of people have shiny hunted that, and I think that is, like, an unreal sprite. And then when they made it fly in Gen 6, I also thought that looked really sick. So it's one of the few Pokemon I think actually kind of upgraded as the game went on. Like, a lot of Pokemon look worse, in my opinion, in the new games. But I genuinely believe Swallow looks cooler in the new stuff. Yeah, I kind of get to that point sometimes as well, Adex. I'm missing LRXC at the moment, because he was a big... He would stream for, like, 8 hours at a time, or, like, 10 hours, or, like, somewhere in the region of, like, 5 to 10 hours. So he would give me very long VODs to just watch along with while I hunt, but he's on a bit of a hiatus at the minute, so... There's kind of a hole in my viewing content because of that. Unfortunately. It's kind of why I'm streaming now, to be honest. At least, like, a bit more than I used to. Like, part of it's, like, I'm watching these other creators. Like, I love watching Riley's stream. I love when Nighthawk, like, makes videos or streams. And it makes me want to stream. But, like, the other side of it as well is just sometimes when I'm bored, streaming is, like, a good way to fill the void. It's just nice to fill out the gap, talk about some Gen 3 with people. Like, this community has a lot of stuff going on in Gen 3. And, like, Gen 3 as a community has always been pretty small. I'd say this is probably, like, the most active I've seen it in a long time. Which is always nice. Yeah, I did see that LRXC is coming back for Ease. I'm just kind of biding my time. It's convenient it's coming back the 6th, though, because I've got some time off from work coming up soon. I think it's I break up from work on the 12th of September, and I've got 2 straight weeks off, which is going to be, like, unreal. And, like, I'm not even really doing anything, I'm just kind of chilling. So that'll come at a good time to just fill some of that time up. I was really playing around with the idea of making a Swellow set in Gen 3. Because, like, it gets some cool stuff. Like, with Endeavor. And I think, if I'm not wrong, does it get Baton Pass as well? Let me double check. I saw some sets on, like, Smogon where you can, like, kind of substitute down, get, like, a berry activation, like a Lychee or a Staff Berry. And then Baton Pass that out. And then you can come back in later and Endeavor with the Swallow. Because Swallow's like base 125 speed, so you're outrunning... Like, if you run Jolly, you're probably outrunning everything. Other than, like, max speed Jolteon 4. So, you can do some hijinks with Swallow even in Gen 3 where it's not quite itself. So I was really debating, like, playing around and making a set for that, and it's still kind of on my radar as something to mess around with at some point. The only thing is, I think Baton Pass is, like, a special move for it. Yeah, it's an XD move, which makes it kind of awkward. Because for me, I like to use shinies. So, I don't know if I'd do that if I couldn't shiny hunt it. You could always do, like, a shiny unlock, but I'm not a massive fan of, like, the XD unlock hunts. I kind of like to hunt stuff that you can actually shiny hunt. Which is a bit hypocritical to say, considering I did the Roamer and Emerald. But you can hunt the Roamer in Ruby Sapphire as well, so it's not like it really matters. The hunting method's pretty much the exact same. Baton Pass Tailwind is good. Yeah, I don't think Tailwind exists in Gen 3. Unless I'm misremembering. But I could see that being good in newer games. Swallows doesn't look good in Auras. Oh, it does look good in Auras. Yeah, that's the one where it's flying, right? Blue color is weird since Gen 4. Yeah, the 3D games desaturated a lot of the colors. And a lot of the shinies suffer from the same thing with that kind of desaturation. I saw a post, I don't know how true it is, that the desaturation is just because of the 3D and the way the 3D works. Like, the actual Pokemon colors, I think I saw it for, like, Dusclops or something. The Pokemon colors are actually, like, very similar to the earlier gens, but the way that the 3D works kind of whitewashes them. Like, the effect does something to it and makes it look different. What happened to Charizard in the new games? Because Mega X is still black, right? Like, the shine is like a weird shade, but it's still black. Is it purple in the new game? Zod? Because it's purple in Gen 2, right? Which is what I was thinking of. Did they turn it back purple in the new games? Oh, okay, Shadow. I was about to say, I thought that I saw Y and it was still black. I don't know. Like, the purple one's cool, but I think Charizard is, like, iconic. Like, black Charizard is just absolutely iconic. Like, the red wings, black Charizard, just, like, unreal. I actually already have a shiny Charizard. I actually used it to start breeding this one. It should be on this file, I'm pretty sure. Let's have a look. I got quite lucky because I needed 30 special attack for Hidden Power Grass. And the shiny I already had was male with 30 in special attack. So I managed to use my original Zard as my parent for the new one I'm breeding. Because this has a 30 special attack IV already. Which is really nice. But this thing looks unreal. I don't know how you can't, like... I think this looks crazy good. Nope. There goes my last egg. Black one's better, black's perfect, yeah. I mean, I'm with you, Cabbage, like, I still like the purple Charizard, but I definitely think the black one's more iconic. Hidden Power Electric's so rare, never seen that. Yeah, I've never seen that either. Hidden Power Electric is just not... It's not really that useful. Because a lot of Pokemon that you want electric coverage on get Thunderbolt anyway. So it's kind of like a weird... It's just so inferior to Thunderbolt. And like a lot of the times if you could run Hidden Power Electric, / if that's coverage you want, like Hidden Power Grass covers a lot of the same Pokemon. Like Hidden Power Grass kind of runs rampant in Gen 3. Like, a lot of the Pokemon have a hidden power for their stab. So like I'm thinking like Gyarados HP flying, Salaman's HP flying, Bug for like coverage into Celebi is quite common. And then grass coverage for like Swampert and all the ground waters is pretty common. Like, a lot of Pokemon don't really run other hidden powers. Like, hidden power fighting is somewhat common to hit T-Tars. But I think grass, ice is like on some mons as well. It's like your popular hidden powers are probably like ice, grass, ice. Some use fire as well, I guess. Like Celebi uses fire. Like there's only like 5 or so hidden powers that are actually like commonly used. The rest of them just kind of fall to the wayside. Which Charizard sprite do you prefer? RSC and Fire Red Leaf Green? You see, I used to be a Fire Red Leaf Green enjoyer. And I used to think it looked better in Fire Red Leaf Green, and I used to think it looked weird in Emerald, but now that I've looked at it on the layout for so long, I actually quite like it in Emerald, and I think the animation it has in Emerald is, like, ridiculously cool. So, like, I'm kind of siding to RSE, to be honest. Like, before I definitely would have said Fire Red Leaf Green, but I've kind of transitioned to Emerald on that one. If it didn't have the animation, maybe I'd still say Fire Red Leaf Green, though. I think just the raw sprite is probably a bit better in Fire Red Leaf Green, but the animation's just dope in Emerald. Yeah, for the most part, I agree, Cabbage. There's some outliers, like Growlithe, but a lot of the Pokemon just look a little bit more unique in Emerald. Like Pidgey, for example. I think that looks really cool in Emerald. The only sad part about Hot Gold or Silver is the sprites don't have animations. Even when you... I thought they had animations when you send them out, right? Or am I thinking of Platinum? Maybe I'm thinking of Platinum. Again, I don't really play a lot of Gen 4 Turbo, so I don't know for sure. Ah, the enemy doesn't have them. Okay. That's kind of sad. Like, whenever I shiny hunting, I pretty much only really hunt in Emerald nowadays, and I always leave the animations on, just because I think it really adds some life to the game. Rattata looks evil in Emerald. Yeah, I just think of Flame Wheel Rat in Emerald, which always tickles me. Can't remember if I saved, so I'm going to save again to be safe. I think I did, but... better safe than sorry. You see, I'm in a bit of a weird spot with the team building now, because I built a Charizard because I really wanted to build a team around Charizard. But then I Ditto farmed for Adamant for ages for a 3IV Ditto, and I got one. So now I really want to breed a Metagross as well. But I'm not sure Metagross and Charizard on the same team is the best team building. I think they have a lot of common weaknesses that isn't great. Like, I think the water Pokemon are just a massive problem. And, like, electric is really terrible for kind of both of them as well. Like, a Zapdos is like, I see a Zapdos, I might as well just turn the game off. So, like, I'd have to run... Electrics are so bad, I'd almost have to run a ground type. Then if I run a ground type as my last, I'm even weaker to waters. Like, maybe, like, a Lantern would fill the hole, but, like, Lantern is just a bad Pokemon. Like, it just is. Like, if it didn't have Volt Absorb, it would just be complete buns. It's just got a, like, an interesting typing. But then, like, if I run Lantern, I'm weak on 2 Pokemon to EQ as well, which is never what you want, because every single Pokemon has EQ. So, I didn't really think... Like, I'm not necessarily building the Metagross for this team. I think I basically just am trying to make a pool of Pokemon that I can use. Yeah, it's just kind of bad for Reese. Like, it kind of wants the power boost from Hydro Pump and Thunder over Surf and T-Bolt, but then it's just like, if you do that, you're running Hydro Pump and Thunder. Which is just like, slot machines. Which admittedly is kind of this Charizard's whole gimmick, is a bit of a slot machine. But you don't really want your, like, old reliable in the back to also be a slot machine. It's just not bulky enough either, Lantern. It's kind of like a weird... I don't know. I think the same about Lapras. It's like Lapras is good, but it's not quite good enough at being bulky for me. And I feel like Lantern's in a pretty similar boat. Yeah, I've thought about Quag and about Swampert. Quag, again, it's kind of a weird Pokemon, because it's just like... It's not very strong, is Quag's problem. So, like, sometimes it becomes a bit of, like, setup fodder, where, like, say a double teamer comes out and you've got Quag on the field, it's like, do you stay in and, like, try and spam down, but then they get some double teams up, or do you swap and just, like, give them a free turn? Like, Quag's kind of odd. Like, I used it in the factory, and it's just... It's not quite good enough, in my opinion, at what it's trying to do. It's nice for, like, immunities, in that you obviously are immune to electric and you have water absorb. But, I don't know, Quag's a bit of a weird one. I agree with that, Vreeze. It's just, I think the waters and the electrics would be a bit of an issue. It's kind of nice that Charizard deals with some of the scarier waters, though. With HP, grass. Like, if you get the Pataya Berry boost, you one-shot Swampert. Which means you're pretty much guaranteed to one-shot all your Wish Caches and all of your Quags as well, because they're all just lower base stat versions. Oh, I've got one more to hatch. And it's true that Charizard resists fire, but Charizard's just not great into fires in return, though. Because, like, say you go fire on fire with Zard, a few of the fire types have flash fire, so your Ninetales and your Rapidashes have flash fire. And then even the ones that don't have flash fire, it's like you're just trading not very effective damage, so you're just gonna get kind of whittled down on each side. I think if Quag got Recover, it would have a much better argument, Breeze. Haze is nice though, Riley, I did see that. One Pokemon I found really funny, because when I saw that had Haze, I was looking like what else gets Haze. Dodrio gets Haze, which I think is really funny. Like, I don't think I'd ever run it, because you'd probably be running like an Endure Flail set or something if you were running that type of Pokemon, but I don't know, maybe it could be funny. That's why you like Starmie, Bolt Beam for days. Don't have to rely on Thunder and Blizzard's terrible accuracy. Yeah, I was gonna build a Starmie as well, Shadow. And I've farmed a Timid. I've got a Timid Ditto for that purpose. But I was looking at some of the damage calcs, and because I've got Timid to outrun pretty much everything other than Jolt 4. But you'd be surprised at the damage that Starmie does. Like, it's not as strong as I thought it was. Like, it gets nice coverage, which is nice. But, like, it doesn't hit as hard as I thought it did in my head. Because, like, I feel like Starmie's really scary when you see it on the other team, because it's so fast, and it gets so much coverage. But it's not... It doesn't OHKO as many Pokemon as you'd think it would if you're running Timid. Like, I was looking down some of the damage calcs, especially into, like, your neutral Pokemon, where you're, like, surfing into, like, a neutral hit. Yeah, exactly, Vreeze. Like, it surprised me that it's not as strong as I thought it was in my head. I feel like in my head, I'd very much bigged Starmie up into being this, like, god tier Pokemon, and it don't get me wrong, it is really good. Because, like, you're living one hit a lot of the time, because it's got, like, an odd amount of defense. So, like, you are actually strangely kind of bulky with it. So, like, you probably can live a hit and trade out, but, like, you're not getting as many Okos as you think you are. Yeah, Seviper gets Haze, but Seviper's just kind of terrible, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, mixed attackers are just not really the wave. Like, split investment is pretty rough. Because, like, you either run physical Seviper, which, like, Sludge Bomb EQ or something like that. But then it's really slow, and you're weak to, like, the most common coverage move in the entire Battle Factory, which is never great. And, like, you're not bulky either, so you're not going to take an EQ well. Poison as, like, an attacking type is pretty poor in Gen 3. Because it doesn't really hit a lot super effectively. Which is kind of rough again. Like, you want your stab to hit a lot of stuff super effectively. So, like, Seviper's just kind of not really it, to be honest with you. Yeah, exactly, Vreeze. It's only base 100. Which, base 100's good, but, like, it's base 100's feels a lot better when you're running, like, Modest with, like, some type of boost compared to when you're running Timid. I may still build the Starmie at some point. I just ran those damage calcs and it kind of demotivated me from building the Starmie. So I'm definitely doing not Tyranitar, Metagross first. I'm gonna have a look at what team I had planned out. I made some notes somewhere about what I was gonna run. I think the team I had in mind was kind of a bit of a recycling job for when I used Zard. I was considering building a Swampert, and then doing Charizard, Swampert, and Snorlax. But I'm not sure if that would maybe leave me some hole. I kind of want to use Metagross now, though, because in my head I want to breed that. So maybe I'd have to play around with it. Yeah, Starmie gets a lot better in Gen 4 plus Shadow when it gets Life Orb. One of the biggest threats to Starmie was opposing Starmie. Yeah, because I guess you're playing the game of, well, you outrun all the other Starmies though, right? I suppose it's if you're trading Thunderbolts, right, I guess, which is not great. I mean, the upside is if you get paralyzed, you can swap out for Natural Cure, but then you're going to get hit on the swap by T-Bolt into something. Let's just get another save then. I really want to start using some of these teams because I'm very much like hyped, but then I really don't want to go in without the shiny team. But at the same time, I have to acknowledge that I'm very far away from having this team ready to take into the frontier. Because the hunting is just so long for this. Like, it's gonna be probably like a couple of years until the whole team's done. Realistically. At least a year, unless I get, like, crazy lucky. It's going to be interesting. I don't know what I'm going to do if I get, say, like, Salamence, and then, like, Milotic or Snorlax, and then I get Charizard after that. Because then it's kind of like an awkward spot where I mean, maybe those three have decent synergy, actually. I'm kind of weak to Aerodactyl with those three, but you could always cycle Intimidates with Salamence. Maybe Salamence Snorlax. You're kind of weak to physical attackers, huh? Like a Regirock's kind of rough for that team. They kind of have good synergy together though, actually, now I'm thinking about it. Because like an electric or an ice or a water you can swap into Lax. You're very much weak to Okomons with that team though. I don't know. I mean, are you though if you've got Sub on Zard? But they're going to be going for Surf, so maybe you still are. I don't know, I'd have to play with it. I feel like I'd probably try it if I got Salamence, Zard, and Snorlax first. It'd be very rough trying to do that with Milotic instead of Snorlax though, because then I'm like really weak into electrics. And like I don't even have Mirror Coat on my Milotic, so that's not even like an option to like play around it. Yeah, my team's kind of weak to Okomons as it stands, Varese, to be honest. It's why I'm going to be running Sub on Milotic over Ice Beam. Which is a hard choice to make, but I think it makes sense with the team. Okomons are always going to be rough though, realistically. I think one Pokemon I really want to try at some point is Donphan. It has, like, all the makings of a really good defensive wall. And, like, it would synergize well with, like, maybe, like, a Starmie lead. Because, obviously, you can just swap into electrics. And Starmie beats a lot of water types as well, just because it has T-Bolt and it resists water moves. So I think, like, a Starmie Donphan core could be pretty cool. I just have to figure out what it'd be running in the back. Yeah, Sub will be nice. Milotic's an interesting speed tier uninvested. Because, like, I can outrun a fair few Pokemon that would want to be using T-Wave on it as well, because it'll be faster than quite a lot of Pokemon still, even uninvested. So, like, there'll be some situations where I can always just kind of sub in the face of a status move, which is kind of nice. Like, very few Pokemon are going to outright see a kill on Milotic, which means a lot of them are going to go for their status moves. Yeah, Donphan used to be pretty meta in Gen 3, but it kind of fell out of favour as time went on. But it has very, very good stats. It's very much lopsided. Yeah, I'd need something for Grasp. You're right. Got good electric coverage. I mean, maybe Charizard would slot good on that team, to be honest, Freeze. It's a bit of a win-con Pokemon as well. I don't know. Again, I'd have to think about it a bit more. I don't know what I'd rock in the back. Maybe like an Explodemon might be nice as well, but the problem is with the Explodemons, a lot of them are weak to the same stuff that Donphan's weak to. I think Donphan's pretty underrated though. Like I watch a guy that does Gen 3 ADV content, and he made like a Donphan set that just like is just designed to just ruin Tyranitar's life, basically. The thing is, again though, Vreeze, Charizard's like interesting with the waters because it's not weak to all the waters. And, like, sometimes you'd be okay swapping, depending on what they are. Like, you wouldn't necessarily have to stick in with Charizard versus a water. Charizard's kind of odd. It's weak to water, but it's also strong to water sometimes, depending on which waters. Like, obviously, like a Milotic, you're not going to beat with a Charizard, but a lot of the scarier waters are the water grounds, and it beats all of those with the set I'm running, which is quite interesting. As long as you don't like, get, like, Quick Claw slaughtered somehow. Let's get rid of those Charmanders because they are trash. Absolute trash. Yeah, Tetrafolium. I love Tetrafolium, bro. Like, he just makes super long form content, and like, when you're just doing grindy stuff like this, it's just absolutely perfect. Like, I'm literally watching him right now on the side. Well, I'm not so much watching him, but just like listening to it in the background. He made like a 3-hour video about Baden Pass, which I'm just listening along to at the minute. Yeah, Walrein and Lapras are scary. For sure. The nice thing is, though, they are... Well, I suppose EQ hits probably the same as Rock Slide anyway, and you're not really going to be trying to flinch. You're not going to risk a miss to go for a flinch chance. Walrein's actually kind of rough as well, because, like, Lapras isn't the worst, because it's water ice, which means you can hit it with, like, just Fire Blast, which is nice. You don't have to rely on, like, Hidden Power Grass, which is really nice when you're talking, like, Blaze boosted Fire Blast versus HP Grass. Like, the damage difference is a lot. But then, Walrein's kind of awkward because it has thick fat, so it's like, what do you do to that? It's kind of rough. Walrein's just a terrible Pokemon. As in, like, to fight. It's pretty cool as, like, a Pokemon, I think, but it's rough in the tower. You know, it's good, James? Exactly. Gen 3 waffle to fall asleep to. You're working on something in a similar style to Tetrafolium for the Sand Team report. Not sure how that will work out. I mean, that'll be cool, Freeze. I'm sure you'll figure it out. I've spent so much time, like, theory crafting stuff in Gen 3 now, though, for, like, these teams, as I'm building them and thinking about them. Like, I just really want to go and use some of them, but, I'm just still very far off from that. And that's making me, like, a little bit impatient. Like, normally, like, shiny hunting and, like, grinding for stuff doesn't really, like, bother me, because I've just been shiny hunting for so long. But, like, my desire to, like, go into the tower is so, like, high that it's actually kind of making me a bit impatient with some of this stuff. Like, I really want to get this egg for this Charizard so I can then go back to hunting for the actual, like, shinies. So that I can, like... At least that way it feels like I'm progressing the team. It's kind of making me impatient with this, which it really shouldn't be, but it kind of is. Especially when you check, like, I don't know, 10 of these, like, max base stats Charmander, like, a day, and then, like, none of them have defense out of all of them, and it's just kind of rough. But I've been so close so many times with this egg as well. Like, I've got 2 that are 1 HP point off, and then I've got 2 that are, like, 1 other point off and another stat. And then I've got my male one that's in here, which is the exact stat spread I need, but got Jolly instead of Timid. So I've had, like, 5 different, like, 1-point/coin flips, you know what I mean? Like, I can taste the victory, but I can't touch it yet. The game is, like, teasing me at this point. I did get the Ditto I wanted, James. It's on the other Emerald, so I can't show it. It's not the best version of the Ditto that I could have got. But it's good enough for me to not want to continue grinding Dittos. Alright, sounds good, James. I think Quag's got a good shout, Reese, for being best to deal with Walrein. Actually, no, because what about Oko moves? I was just thinking, like, Water Absorb goes crazy, but... that's definitely not true at all. I don't know why I just said that. It's actually terrible. I mean, to be honest, Vreeze, like, Snorlax is, like, crazy good at beating Walrein. It's just that turn where you need a... If you had sub on it, if you could get a sub up with Snorlax, like, you're never losing to a Walrein. It's just the Oko moves that Snorlax kind of suffers with. And it's why the team as a whole is kind of weak to Oko moves, is because not only am I weak because of Quick Claw, I'm weak because I'm slower. So it's kind of the reason I need to run sub, because Salamence doesn't the saving grace, in my opinion, of the way the team's compiled is that because I'm leading with Salamence, like a lot of these Pokemon, like the Laprases and the Walreins, are gonna want to click Ice Beam turn 1 rather than wanting to click Sheer Cold. Which means that turn where they're going for that Ice Beam because they see the kill and it gets the +4, I think it is, in the priority chain, or +3. They're going to go for Ice Beam, so I get a free switch into Milotic. So as long as I don't get froze that turn, I basically get away with, like, going for a sub the next turn, like, unpunished. So I'm only rolling, like, the Oko move, like, one time on the, like, if it Quick Claws me still. Which is kind of like a nice synergy between those Pokemon. What was the Ditto I wanted? I was going for a 3IV Adamant Shadow, because I want to build a 5IV Metagross as well at some point, but the problem is with Metagross, like, it's genderless, so I can't improve the Metagross side of the parent, so I need a really good starting Ditto to make it viable to get a 5IV egg. So I was grinding for like a few weeks of just catching Dittos non-stop, and I got a 3IV Adamant Ditto. The only problem is it's attack, speed, and HP. And HP has the worst odds of passing down, which is kind of rough, but... Yeah, I mean... The problem is, Vreeze, is... If I'm keeping Dragon Dance for Salamence, because I don't want to get rid of it, because it's an egg move and I won't be able to get it back, I'm going to be running Lum on Salamence, because that makes Salamence weak to status moves. Whereas if it was Choice Band, it would be Okoing a lot more Pokemon, whereas now I have to set up a turn, so I'm more susceptible to status. So I kind of need the Lum on Salamence, really. And, like, Milo Leftovers just makes a lot of sense for, like, passive healing sub backup. Yeah, I've just spent so long theory crafting the team at this point, Vreeze. It would just be nice to, like, use it a little bit. But I knew what I was signing up for when I started this, like... I knew how slow the eggs would be, I knew how slow the hunting would be, like... I need to live with my choice. And I will live with my choice because I want it. So I will do it because I want it. You know what they say, no pain, no gain. Lum on your setup Char. I mean, that's for Salamence, Vreeze. Like, the Charizard isn't going to be running Lum. The Charizard's going to be running Pitaya Berry. Yeah, that happens sometimes, Riley. Every time you try and patch a hole, you're like, you realize like a day later, you get so happy and you're like, oh yeah, I patched my hole. And then you'll be thinking about the team randomly and you'll be like, oh shit, because I changed that, I'm now weak to this. Charizard's a nice speed tier. Charizard outruns a lot of stuff. Yeah, you meant Mence. Yeah, for sure. I just think the Aspia Berry is, like, very much for a very niche situation where I'm going to be getting value out of it very rarely, compared to where I'm going to be getting consistent value out of Leftovers. Yeah, basically what you just said there, yeah. There's a lot of things like that where it's like, yes, in this one situation, this one thing would be, like, incredibly nice. But you kind of have to play the odds of, like, making it stronger to the most Pokemon. Because you're always going to be somewhat weak to something, you know what I mean? Like, there's always going to be something that's scary to your team. It's just about padding it out as much as you can within the limits of what you've got. I think Sub is definitely the right play on my Milotic, though, because I was thinking, like, I'm going to suffer without Ice Beam to Salamence, because that was something I was worried about, was, like, Salamence on Salamence, turn 1. But, like, even if I'm Salamence on Salamence, I'll hit the Intimidate turn 1. It's probably going to be Declawing anyway. And then Milotic takes the Declaw pretty well on Switch. Just because it has base 1. Like, even uninvested in Spadef, like, 252 HP, 125 base Spadef. Like, it eats that pretty well. And, like, Latis I'm not worried about, because I've got Lax, which is basically the Lati Destroyer. So, like, I feel like it's worth me dropping Ice Beam on that. Just to, like... I feel like Okos are definitely where that team loses. So I think having Sub on Milotic just makes a lot of sense. You want to come up with a mod that uses Landsat Berry? I don't even know what the Landsat Berry does, really. What is that? Is that like a booster one, like a defense booster? You want to do Endure Staff on Blaziken? I feel like Endure Staff is like... It's good, but like, I feel like surely Salak is just better on Blaziken. It's hard to justify, like, not running Salak on a Blaziken, because you'll have a 200 base power reversal, presumably, if you're rocking Endure. I suppose you're using your shiny one though, aren't you? So you... No, but... No, you'll have Endure because you're saying Endure Star. So if you have Endure, you're going to be running a 200 base power reversal, and you'll have Blaze boosted fire move, so it's like... You're rarely going to be clicking the fire move anyway, unless it's like a Skarmory or something. Just because, like, 200 BP stab is just unreal power. So, like, you'd just rather be faster, I feel like, on Blaziken. Because, like, with a Salak, you're outrunning, like, pretty much everything. Landsat's the crit berry. There's a hilarious set with, Swampert, where you use Endure Salak. Not Endure, sorry, Endeavor Salak. Because you Endeavor the turn you get hit down, then you proc Salak, and then you outrun. And then you can Endeavor the next Pokemon as well, before you die. Which is just, like, an absolutely goofy set, but... I've seen it absolutely destroy people in ADVOU, so I'm sure it would see some play in the old Battle Tower. Such a unique way of playing Swampert as well. This might sound bad, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a Sceptile hater in the Battle Tower, man. I just don't think it's that good. Like, I really don't rate it that highly. I just don't think it hits, man. Like, if you really want it to hit, you need a crit. And I just don't think that is, like, the play. Let me check this. Relaxed. Cool. We're fine to save them. It just misses having a good grass move in Gen 3. That's the problem. Like, if it had, like, maybe a smidge more special attack, like a 110 or a 115 in special attack, or if it just had, like, a 90 base power grass move, like, it would be so much better. It's just, like, that little bit too weak to do what it's meant to do. And, like, it doesn't even have bad special attack as it is, it's just the moves are just so bad. I've never really had Sceptile as a threat against me, Vreeze, because all the times I've done the Battle Tower, I've been running, Salamence. Or, like, Salamence and Metagross, and, like, they both just, like, fold. They just fold it up into a ball. Isn't Leaf Blade the strongest base power grass attack? You've got Hidden Power Grass as well, but in terms of, like, a unique actual move, yeah. Like, this Frenzy Plant, but if we're talking, like, just real moves and not just troll shit. What does SB stand for? I feel like I don't know what SB is. Oh, Solar Beam. Yeah. Again, like, Solar Beam is, like, effective base power of 60 unless you have, like, Sun, right? Like, if we're talking, like, real moves, it's Hidden Power Grass or Leaf Blade. It always sucks when you have to rely on Hidden Power for your, like, stab move, because the base power is just pretty cheeks. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, Hidden Power is 70, Scorpa. It's pretty poor. I think that's part of why, like, Special Ments is so used in, like, at least in, it's not as good in Battle Tower scenario, but Special Ments is really good in, ADVOU. And I think part of the reason why Special Ments, or, like, to be honest, it's mainly mixed Ments, because they tend to run Brick Bite coverage for, Blissey. But that's part of the reason why that set is so popular by comparison. Because, like, being limited to Hidden Power for your stab it's pretty bad for just, like, you're not really powering through things with a 70 base power move. Which is the Sceptile problem all over again. Yo, it's good, Joplin. How you doing? How's things going? How goes the Umbreon? I've done so many eggs the last 2 days, I can't even put it into words. I've just spent this whole weekend just so far. Obviously, I've got tomorrow off because of that annual holiday or whatever it is. But I basically the last 2 days have just done eggs all day. Like, I'm really pushing to try and, like, get this one along a bit further. Only time you fear Sceptile is when you're down to your Suicune. Yeah, if you're kind of weak into Sceptile, then the crit is really scary on Leaf Blade, but... Again, yeah, that's when you're down to your last one. For the most part, I don't think Sceptile's too scary on the enemy team. Unless you're Riley and you're gonna get Leech Seeded. Or maybe like an EQ crit on the Oxide switch. Wow. 5 lots of doo-doo. Yeah, Sceptile as like a mixed attacker is just not really it. Like, there's like an SD set, but like, you're so frail. And like, your physical stab, it doesn't exist, so it's like... Even +2, there's a lot of mons you're probably not one-shotting. You guys are playing Snap in the chat? Yeah, when isn't it like that though, Joplin? It's Friday evening, you're happy, you just got off work, and then you blink, and then it's Sunday evening, and it's like, oh. Nice. To be fair, that's why I wanted to go live today instead of tomorrow. Because I'm off tomorrow still. But I figured I wouldn't want to stream late, because obviously I like to stream a bit later for me. Because a lot of you guys are American time zone. Like, I know not all of you are, there's a fair spread across the community. But there are a lot of Americans, so I stream a little bit later my time. Compared to what I... Like, normally I'd stream in the morning, where I used to when I was on Twitch. I stream a little bit later now. But I don't think I'd want to do that if I had work the next day. Like, I wouldn't want to be live. It's 11 PM for me right now. I wouldn't want to be live right now if I had work tomorrow. I'd be in bed already. So I figured, why not make the most of it while I've got a spare day off. Unfortunately, Riley, you can claim you're not American, but you are on the continent of North America. I hate to say it. Australian. Yeah, I mean, your time zone is just scuffed then, blonde. You're like the 180 from me. It's probably like 10 in the morning for you right now or something. Still trying to go for your 4IV EV. Really close. Both 3IV male and female, but no cigar yet. Yeah, you're at the first sticking point now, Joplin. The scuff gender ratio 4IVs are kind of rough. I suppose you only need one 4IV though, right? Because you don't really care about your attacks. You're just at the farm it out step then, I guess, and just try and get yourself a 4IV. 8:05 on Monday? Yeah, you guys are always on, like, the complete flip of us in the UK. I've got, a friend that he was a shiny hunter I used to speak to a lot. And he lived in New Zealand, and, like, we only ever spoke on the weekend, basically. Like in the work week, we just wouldn't even see each other at all. It's a rough time zone gap to that part of the world. The unfortunate thing is you really want the 4IV to be female. I mean, you could do the 1 egg thing, but that will really slow your eggs down. Like, if you genuinely want it to be a female, I would recommend doing that, because otherwise you're going to be doing that for a while, I feel. Yeah, I agree, Jose. It's not fair, is it? I really needed this, like, extra health, though, I'm not gonna lie, because my last annual leave from work was March. So, and it's my own fault, because, like, in my work, I have to give 3 months notice to book holiday. And then by the time I realized I hadn't booked any holiday, it was already, like, May. So I was like, shit. So, I haven't had any time off work in a while, so this day off was, like, perfect, really. It came at a good time. Your family moved to the UK, so for you to speak to them, it's on the way to work at like 5 AM. Yeah, that is rough, Don. Ooh. When you get the IVs you wanted, but not the gender? Does Milotic have to be female? No, but yes. I think I don't really care too much about genders. I think it's nice to have at least one that's the opposite gender, just for, like, attract Pokemon. Oh, yeah, what's good, DOR? Sorry, I missed your message. You were lurking and just watching, but bedtime now in EU? Yeah, EU is probably dropping off, if they haven't already. It's definitely around that time. It's midnight for a lot of Europe, so... Oh, Adex, I love Anandos, man. What I really love is I have to travel away for... Well, I don't love this, but I have to travel away for work a fair bit to, like, different companies, so I end up in hotels, like, traveling a lot all over the country. And, they pay for our evening meals. The amount of Nandos I buy with those free meals is actually criminal. Hmm. You want to name it Kyrie? Making things harder for the aesthetics. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do, Dropper. Does Subway taste good in the UK? I'm gonna be honest, Subway is like the bottom of fast food I would ever buy. I really don't ever go to Subway. So I'm probably not the one to answer that question. There's no actual name for that method. Joplin Riley's trying to, like, coin something right now. So, just play along with it. There used to be a Subway near you for years, but it was empty. It's just quite expensive for what it is. And, like, I just don't... Like, if I'm buying fast food, it's because I want something that, like, hits, you know what I mean? And I feel like Subway just doesn't... It doesn't hit. And, like, yes, you're the one that makes it, put what you want in it, lol. But it's just not... It's not as good as the other fast food choices, in my opinion. Like, I'll take a KFC over a Subway every single day of the year. Yeah, Umbreon with Wish is really nice, chopping. It's not a good combo, is it? Expensive and not good. It's like pick a struggle, man. Are you keeping track of how many eggs you're doing, dropping, or are you just going until you get it and just praying it sooner rather than later? Rather get a Greg's sandwich for lunch than Subway? Yeah, Greg's is way better for lunch. Just going ham? Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if you're just going for like a 4 IV, you don't really need to keep track of the eggs, to be honest. Like, I like to keep count for me because, like, it starts to, like, test your sanity if you don't count. Like, I find counting, like, very therapeutic. Because it's like it's fake progress in your mind, right? Like, realistically, my chance of getting the egg now is no better than it was when I was 300 encounters in. But in my head, if I can see the number going up every day, it's like, I can trick myself into, like, thinking that I'm making progress. Which is nice. But, like, if you're doing something that's not going to take that long, you don't really need the counter for that. You grabbed the whiskey you missed from streaming last night, had some chicken and veggies now, relaxing with a glass of Canadian Club 12, yeah. Yeah, you were saying you're a bit of a... rather have the chicken and the veg than anything else, so Riley. Consistency. You don't have to worry about what's the best fast food when you just got your chicken and your veg. When am I jumping on Nighthawk's pod? I already spoke to him about it, and it's just kind of weird, Don, because, like, a big part of the podcast and a big part of the, like, conversation is, like, what's threatening your team and, like, what have you learned from playing with the team and things like that, and just stories of, like, what happened when you're playing the tower. And I don't have any of that experience with the team yet, because I haven't finished the team. And it's not going to be done for a long while. So as much as I would love to, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense at the minute. Obviously, if I finish the team and he's still doing it, I'd be more than happy to. And I'm sure he'd do that with me, but yeah, it's just kind of a weird spot at the minute where I don't have the prereq... Like, I don't even have screenshots for him to have of the finished team, you know what I mean? Because they're just in eggs at level 5, for the most part. So it's just, yeah, it's just not far enough along for that, unfortunately. But I do like listening to the podcast still. I'm hoping there's some more episodes coming out soon, because, like, I really, really think that is, like, the best commuter content of all time. So... You just count eggs when you release? See, I have to have the 2 counters, Riley. Like, I don't need the saving counter, but having the collected eggs counter and the hatched eggs counter is, like, so nice. Like, just having these on the screen and just, like, at any glance at the screen for any second, I know exactly how many more eggs I need to get, is just, like, unreal. Like, when I don't have these, I'm checking the party after, like, every strafe of this pathway. Like, it sets, like, a paranoia in your brain when you don't have the counter on screen telling you. Found yourself Raleigh through him? Yeah, he's really done a lot for, popularizing Gen 3 content again, I would say. Like, I've been making shiny hunting videos for, like, years, but, like, there was never really, like, just a non-shiny hunting, just, like, Gen 3 type of content of just, like, playing and doing things, you know what I mean? And, like, he's really filled a gap, I feel like, that was missing. It's good to have you, though, Don. It was so nice with the Cubone hunt. Now that you're doing the Sargo method, you just do it better. Yeah, fair enough. You don't really need it for the single egg, do you? If that makes sense. Yeah, but Riley, I can believe how many watch the streams because, like, the enthusiasm is, like, very infectious. Like, you're very interactive and it's very enthusiastic and it makes it very, like, easy to watch and interact with. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, that's another reason why I kind of wish I was doing some of the tower stuff, is it's kind of easier to have that active narration, I guess. Like, when you're just doing hatch some eggs, release the eggs, get more eggs, hatch the eggs, release the eggs, it's like you don't have that extra layer of, like, there's something else going on to speak about. You're very much reliant on, like, what are people talking on in chat to keep the conversation going. Whereas, like, when you're doing something a bit more active than just repeating the same eggs over and over and over and over again, it gives you that other thing to talk about and narrate for, which kind of helps fill some of the gaps. Yeah, it's kind of rough sometimes. Like, it's kind of why I like streaming this as well, though, is because it's so boring to do it. Like, it's very motivating in the fact that I want the output of what I'm doing, but it is also incredibly boring in the process of doing what I'm doing. Which is why it's nice to stream it and just have other people to talk to and just, like, fill the hush and the quiet and the repetitiveness a little bit better. Minecraft is having a forever world trend, and you feel like Gen 3 is having that too? Yeah, agreed, Adex. I don't really watch a massive amount of Minecraft. I used to play it kind of back in the day. But there's very much like a building a final save file type of movement. And, like, seeing how far you can go with, like, one set of stuff. I'm just so excited to go and play some Battle Tower with these mons that I've, like, theory crafted and hunted for so long. It's gonna be so exciting to, like, actually get to take them in and play with them. After all this time and, like, all this setup. But, like, there's just so much more setup to go first. But, again, part of the game we play. Part of the fun of getting to the endpoint is the grind that you do to get there, I guess, so. It wouldn't be any fun to get the rare shinies if they weren't rare, so. Yeah, exactly, Jose. Everyone's got their own thing going on, but, like, everybody's involved in each other's stuff. Oh. I don't know why I decided to go live today at, like, 9 PM my time, though, because I literally woke up at, like, 6 this morning. Because of that flea market, so. I'm very much surprised I haven't crashed out yet of, like, I need to sleep. But while the motivation's here, strike while the iron's hot, as they say. Try and squeeze out as many eggs today as we can. Whoops, and I've just ruined my projector. There we go. Who is Brandon Sanderson, Jose? Philosopher, or like someone else? "100% know what I mean. If your stomach wasn't growling at you yesterday, you might have kept going." Yeah, you were saying like if it was like a 10... If it was a 10-minute set, you would have done some more, but if it wasn't, you would have stopped. I'm not all the way to the end yet of the VOD. I've got like the last, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. I just want to throw it out here that that was the third Charmander in a row that was worth checking, that was right in the very last slot. Coincidence? Yes. That's Jose's pal down at the pub. I mean, who knows? Maybe Jose is friends with some fantasy writers. How do we know who Jose hangs around with in his free time? I'm now officially out of slots for Charmanders. This is becoming dire now. We need to empty out the save file a bit. Oh. Oh, there's nothing more depressing than that. And this is why you check the score first. As soon as this guy says quite impressive, like even if it's the max base stats at level 5, there's no point me even checking them. Because the minimum cap to hit wonderfully outstanding is below the 5 IV threshold. So I already know that this thing is not even worth checking, which is incredibly depressing. But it does mean I get to release this Charmander and I'm not out of space yet, I guess. Very depressing. This is the one, never mind. Yeah. Back to the cycling. We had our 1 second of excitement. You hang out with the wife IRL and us in the weekends, sometimes both at the same time. Sounds like a good mix. You only dealt with that a few times. It's a nice way to quickly move on. It is, but like, the higher up you get and the lower the frequency of like even getting to check any of the eggs, it's nice to like get that like suspense of checking something. Have I found any shiny Charmander yet? Oh, Ollie G, my sweet prince, do I have something to show to you? Here you go, buddy. Somewhere in the sea of Charmanders. Here we are. No, not this one. I've just got to find them first. I think it's these ones. No? Somewhere in here. Oh, here we go. We have 2 of them already. So I've technically already finished the Charmander line now. We got ourselves a timid one and a serious one. And then we've already got a shiny Charizard, so we've now got the trifecta. I would just like to say that this has been some of the most ridiculous shiny luck I've ever had across these eggs. Like, I've had 2 shiny random Charmander. I'm not gonna call them, well, they are randoms, but they're kind of not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm doing a lot of encounters. Got 2 Charmanders, got a Snorlax, and a Bagon. So I've found 4, like, shinies just in the process of doing eggs for setup. Does the serious one bully the timid one? I mean, the better solution, Jose, is I'll just release the serious one, and then we won't have that problem. I can't do that, actually, because then I wouldn't have the lion, because this is going to be a Charizard, so... Not that I would do that anyway, because I wouldn't. What are you hunting nowadays, Ollie G? You got something somewhat recently, right? I feel like I remembered that you're not dead. You showed the world you were alive at some point. I'm struggling to recall what it was now, though. Just a whole lot of eggs, Ollie. Just a whole lot of eggs. I think this one might be the longest I've spent at the 4IV stage. Because I actually got my 2 4IV parents so early in this one. Like, I had the 2 4IVs at 300 eggs. So, like, this is 6.3k just at the 5k stage. You got the Hoenn sound Absol like a month ago? Yeah, that's probably what I was thinking of, to be honest, though. Like, yeah, life is life. It's always gonna come first. Thoughts on God of War? Really good. I really like the Salakberry Destiny Bond set. Is it like endure Destiny Bond, Salakberry, and then some type of moves that you want? God of War is kind of like, I don't want to say it, but it's kind of like slightly worse Gengar though. Loki. I was cooking like a God of War set in my notes somewhere that I was thinking of like a completely like troll set that I was going to build at some point. Like, this is what I was cooking as like, I was thinking about making like a guard that's like pure support to try and get something in and get that set up. And I don't think I'd ever actually run this set. But I was thinking like something like that maybe. And like maybe drop one of the light screens or reflect for like psychic or something, you know what I mean? But I thought that could be like a complete like funny troll set to use. Because like I've never seen anyone really use Memento. And I just think the setup potential of Memento could go crazy. Is Tropius my longest RE hunt? That's a hard question. Because... let me have a look. I don't actually know the answer to that without thinking about it. Because my longest encounter-wise is for sure fishing for Dratini, because I'm like 300,000 into that and I don't have it yet. But obviously that's not random encounters. And then my longest hunt is Suicune, but again, that's not really random encounters, it's more soft resets. Are we talking time, or are we talking encounters, Adex? I think you can get it from the gift, Jirachi, from what I was hearing as well, Shadow. But primarily Colo, yeah. Quagsire was a very long hunt. That was one phase as well. I think Quag might have been longer. Because Quag was 10,000, but that, or 10.5k, but that was a really slow repel trick. So that would have been like 200 plus hours of hunting. It might have even been slower than that. I can't remember how many I was getting per hour on that, but that one was really slow. It might have been like 30 an hour. Now that I think about it, maybe it was like 30 an hour. So probably Quagsire and Emerald. It was like a surfing repel trick, and it was like dumb slow. And it was in the Safari Zone, so you keep ding-donging all over the place. I think raw encounter number, probably the Tropius, yes. For random encounters. I'm not much of a phaser though, to be honest, Adex. I'm more of a repel tricker. I'd rather just like get my target and move on. Wow, this last egg is just like the slowest egg to generate of all time, or what? Like, how am I... I've hatched 3 out of 4 before I've got my 5th egg. This is just diabolical. Yeah, I've done a fair few fishing hunts at this point, Adex. It's kind of worse in Sapphire though, because obviously you don't have suction cups like you do in Emerald. But I've done a lot of fishing in Emerald, and it's when the number starts getting up there, it gets a bit tiring, to be honest with you. But there's some cool targets from fishing, so yeah, great. I've hatched all 4 of them before I've got this last egg. That is criminal. This was the other downside of me, like, messing up with the parents at the start, is I don't get the most efficient eggs anymore because my quote-unquote 5IV1, that's male with the wrong nature, I didn't hatch it on a different game because I thought it was a breedject. So it's got the same trainer ID, which means, unfortunately, I end up with, like, this scuff scenario where I'm not getting eggs all the time as fast as I would want to get. Don, you're gonna have a bit of a problem with that because the IVs are glitched for Suicune and Fire Red Leaf Green. The maximum HP, I think, is like 19 or something like that, or 17. And attack is like locked to, I think it's like 8 at max, something like that, something low. And then all the other stats are guaranteed 0 because of a glitch with the coding. Or like an issue with the coding. So if you want like a good IV Suicune, you have to get it through Colosseum, really. So it's a good thing you procrastinated it because you would have wasted your time. So shout out to you for procrastinating it. Oh, you meant Colosseum. That makes more sense. You wanted to hunt a shiny Staryu for your wife? Fishing hunting is so slow. Yeah. It's definitely a bit more tedious than the random encounters. It depends how many systems you're doing, Adex. Like, if you're just doing the one, you can definitely get away with it, but if you're doing a few, it's hard to hunt those and do other stuff. For the DS cap card, did I send it out or do the mob myself? I bought them from the guy. I bought them from Loopy, like, back in 2018. I think if I was doing it now, I'd maybe try it myself. But it depends how confident you are with doing random stuff. To be honest, like, if you're just doing one system, like, I really think the GameCube's the way to go, personally. Like, this is GameCube right now, and, like, I think this quality is pretty damn good. Like, it is the GBI, like, thing that you can do with it. But I think just being able to sit in your chair with a Wavebird is just, like, unreal. And the ease of just, like, being able to plug the cable into the Game Boy player and just trade your stuff away is just really underrated. Like, I'm just reclined in my chair right now. If I had my cap cards, I would not be reclined in my chair right now. Yeah, I don't really know anything about the RNG and color, so I can't really comment on that. Sipping on coffee as we speak, working from home. Yeah, I feel that. Whenever I work from home, I tell myself I'm gonna wake up early and finish early, and then I just roll over in bed and wake up at the last possible moment. So, that is very valid. You own a GameCube with the Game Boy adapter, but you need the disc. If you do the GBI stuff, you don't need the disc. I do not currently have the disc. You're undecided on your setup for that. Above everything, you gotta get a good PC. You have a 2015 MacBook. Yeah, that's pretty cooked chopping, I'm not gonna lie to you. You would need another COVID to work from home. I get it sometimes, Jose. Like, the problem is, I have to, like, manage a team at work, so I only really get to work from home when I'm just working by myself, which isn't that often anymore. So, like, I get to work from home sometimes, but most of the time I'm in the office. GBI, it's Game Boy Interface, I think it stands for, Shadow. It's like there's like a little, I don't even know what you even call it. Like a little thing that plugs into the bottom of your GameCube is like a little cutout, like a semicircle shape cutout. And you can put a memory card in it, like a SD card. And it basically, like, you put some files on there, and you boot it through a GBA or through a GameCube game. So, for example, mine boots through Colosseum, and, like, whenever you activate, like, whatever the, like, trigger event is in Colosseum, it loads, like, a corrupted save file and boots you into, like, an interface. And then it loads, like, it loads your GBA player in, like, really good quality. Which is, like, why this looks really clean, even though it's a Game Boy player. It's because it runs through that. Like, there's some mods to make it auto-boot into, like, the GBI interface, but that requires soldering and knowledge that I am yet to obtain about how to do it. I mean, I'll show you in a sec, like, how it works. Like, you'll see what I'm on about. It's very hard to explain without showing. But yeah, what Riley just said, man. Like, the difference is because of GBI. Like, the base Game Boy player output is very... It's, like, not a clean output. Whereas GBI is very much a cleaned up output. Like, if I reset in a second, you'll see what I'm on about. I mean, do I want to get a... Nah, it's fine. I don't need a new battle video for one day. It's fine, I'll get it next time. So, like, if I turn my GameCube off now and boot back up, Diddle 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 din din. Yeah, the quality's really good. They've made some there's some really like good stuff going on for like modding and like just captures and things like that. Like I'm using a really good HDMI upscaler. And it used to be that they were really expensive, but then there's a couple more brands that got made. So now it's not quite as expensive to get the HDMI adapter either. So like you load into Colosseum and like this is a special like save file. And like the type of save file you need depends on like what region of game it is you're playing. But the way it works is like it'll boot me into the interface when I go into a battle in this. It like overflows the text of the game and then boots you into the interface. So like you'll see when I send out my Pokemon here. And don't ask me how this works, because I have no clue. I just got told how to do it. So you got the ninja, and then bam, you're in here. And now it's reading from, like, the plugin that you put into the little gap in the bottom of the GameCube. And you basically has, like, that's why it's called GBI, it's the Game Boy interface. And you can basically click down here, GBIHF, and it loads your game. Like, I have a physical GBA player plugged into the bottom of my GameCube with a physical emerald in it. But it boots it through the interface instead, which gives it, like, way better quality. So when you click that, it boots you up like the regular, it loads you into the Game Boy player, but bam, you've got really crispy, nice pixels instead of a bit of blur. Just get our battle recording going again. Like, the quality's a little bit worse than the capture cards. Like, it's not perfect output like the capture cards are, but it's pretty damn close. Like, if you didn't already have capture cards and looked at it, you wouldn't know it wasn't a capture card. Yeah, it depends what game it is, Jacob. So, like, you can boot into GBI with a bunch of different games. Like, you don't have to use Colosseum. I just used Colosseum because I already have Colosseum. There's, like, a whole wiki of, like, what games you can use to boot into GBI. I just already had Colo to hand because I already have Colosseum because I shiny hunted it. So it just made logical sense to use that. You're playing on Analog Pocket? Yeah, Analog Pocket's really nice as well. I've never seen, like, a really clean IPS screen. Like, the best I've ever used, like, ever since I was a kid, like, my dad used to collect retro games. And he had the Bright GBASP, the AGS 101, I think it is. So I inherited that from him. So that's, like, what you always used to use to play on. And I've got, like, a couple of Game Boy Micros and stuff as well, which are, like, relatively okay screens. They're not as nice as the Bright SP, but it's better than the non-backlit despair of the regular 001. You see, my 101 used to be my pride and joy, Riley, but now I just think the green Game Boy Micro with the emerald in it is just, like... Every time I see it, it just makes me happy to play on it. It just looks so clean, like, together. And, like, I basically only play Emerald nowadays, so I've just got that, like, color coordination. It just looks, like, so crispy. Alright, I'm thinking we get to 650 eggs, and then I'm probably calling it a night there, because it is getting pretty late now. It's almost midnight, and my sister's staying with us at the minute, so I don't want to, like, wake her up or stop her from sleeping or anything. So I'll probably do another 8 eggs, and then I'll call it a stream there, I think. I don't know, Joplin, I think a PC is a pretty big, especially if you're on a 2050 and like Mac, I think a PC is a massive upgrade. You'd be surprised. Like, I used to be on a laptop, and when I finally bought like a half-decent PC, it felt like it changed my world. I mean, I've done a bit of tweaking with the picture, Riley, like, even in this. Like, I think the base game's a little bit desaturated, so I've turned the saturation up a smidge for my game. And I've also got a sharpening filter in OBS on this. Like, I don't think you'll be able to see it on stream, just because, like, the stream will be under the bitrate or whatever. But, like, the filter, the sharpening filter, just makes it takes it from, like, a little bit blurry. Like, you can just see on the edge of stuff that it's, like, a little bit blurry, and then when you click it, it just it's almost like it snaps into focus, like, a little bit. And again, I can see it because I've got it on my big monitor, but you probably can't even see it through, like, the YouTube quality. But it just makes it look that little bit crispier for me, just for when I'm looking at it. You got a Rayquaza shell for your modded SP? Yeah, I really like the Pokémon SPs are all super cool. It's a shame they were all, like, never backlit, though. They were all the, 001s, right? Would have been really cool to get, like, an original shell Rayquaza SP that was, like, backlit. That would have been unreal. I would for sure have to buy one of those, if that existed. Not surprised people mod stuff like that. I've never seen, like, the IPS screens or anything, though, and I hear they're, like, really crispy. Which I assume is, like, a similar thing to what the Analog Pocket has. The funny playing IPS screen mods are fire. Yeah, it'd probably be more than that, IDEX, I'm not gonna lie. I would not be surprised if it was like $1,000 for that. I mean, I could always do an IPS Game Boy at some point, because the thing is, I'm gonna need more Game Boys to do my berries. Because at some point I would very much like to... I think for these guys that I'm doing now, so like the Salamence, the Milotic, the Snorlax, and probably Zard as well at some point, I'd very much like to get the max contest stats for the ribbon stuff rather than just the good ones. But like, you need 4 SPs for that. But at the same time, like at some point, I'm for sure gonna go and like visit Speed. So like, we could definitely do that at some point. Like, I've already met him IRL, but like, there's a band that we both really like, and they go to Germany quite a bit. So like, whenever they're next in Germany, like, I'll probably go and watch that with them. And then we could always do like some berry shit there as well. So like, I don't think I'm going to buy myself a ton of systems for that. I'll probably just like take a cable and take a couple of SPs with me and do some berry mixing with them at some point. Yeah, it's priorities, Joplin. Like, don't buy... Like, that shit is not as important as, like, rent and, like, being able to, like, do the things you want to do, like, outside of gaming. Like, don't buy yourself into a hole, but, like, at the same time, it is a big upgrade, so, like, work towards it eventually. Your dream system, which would be nuts expensive, is a lime green aluminium shell OG GBA with tactile shoulders, GBA SP button pads for the face, but Jesus Christ. So just everything then, Riley. Just the whole shebang, basically. Oh, quite impressive again. Oh, the despair of this hunt, man. I don't even get to check my Charmanders anymore. This is the state of the world we live in. Nah, did that just say defense? I wasn't locked in. Because I haven't had defense on a single Charmander today. So that is a troll if that said defense. I don't think so. Either way, it doesn't matter because it's trash, so it's getting released. It's not a bad name, actually, Rona. It says special defense. Okay, that makes me feel better, Scorpio. Because I must have gone through about... I'd say today at least I've probably checked 10 to 15 Charmanders, and I don't think a single one of them today has had defense. So that would have made me annoyed if that one had defense. Yeah, you can just be released. You are unloved, Charmander. I hate to say it to you. In fact, I don't hate to say it to you, you're just unloved. It is time for you to leave this world. Even on transporting it, it's just like a hassle. Yeah. Yeah, it's rough because, like, you don't really want to buy a laptop if you are going to move out and then you could just have a PC afterwards. Like laptops aren't terrible, but they're just not the same. Like, I would really get a PC over a laptop unless you're, like, going to be traveling for work or something. I don't know, because you said... Did you say you do construction as well? Because I know Riley said he does construction, right? I don't know if you have to travel far for that or if it's, like, relatively local. Because, like, that's the only place where I think it'd be useful to have a laptop. Because, like, I travel a lot for work, and sometimes I think it'd be nice to have a laptop. But a PC is just leagues better, to be honest with you. Diddle-a-din. Well, let's hope for some last batch magic, shall we? Otherwise, it's going to be 2 very disappointing days of Charmanders back to back. When I say I've been hunting all day, I mean all day. I went to the flea market this morning, I got back at like probably 10:30 in the morning, and I've basically hunted from then until midnight now. So, it's pretty long grinding sessions, but gotta take advantage of the free days where I can. Yeah, exactly, Adex. Like, laptops definitely have, like, a lifespan on them. A lot of the time it's just because of, like, the fans and the ventilation just isn't very good for them. They tend to run on the hot side. Whereas, like, this PC that I'm using now, I've had this PC since 2020 and it still runs, like, completely fine. And, like, even, like, when parts become, like, a bit outdated, you don't have to replace the whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, you can just replace what you need to based on what you want to do with it. So, like, I had a bit of a phase where I was playing, like, a lot of competitive games and I was playing a lot of Fortnite. So I bought, like, a new CPU for that. But, like, you don't have to buy a whole new PC for it. You can just kind of upgrade what you need to when it comes out of date and then just leave the rest of it. Just waiting to see if you'll stay at this site, but right now it's close to where you live, so it's great. Yeah, that's always good. Nothing worse than, like, having to commute. Genuinely. Like, I work in an office where I live that's, like, really close to my house. It's, like, a 15-minute drive, like, even with traffic. But we merged offices with, like, another office that's further away. So sometimes I have to go to their office and it's like an hour and 10, like an hour and 15 drive each way, and that just feels like such a chore every single day. When you get used to like being local, if you have to start commuting away, it feels like a big time drain. Yeah, I'm not very much into the Apple stuff, ADX, to be honest with you. I've never really been an Apple person. I've always had like Android everything basically, or Windows, so it's like, to me MacBooks aren't really that appealing, but if you've got all the other stuff Apple, like your phone's Apple and everything else is Apple, I can see the appeal. You had a MacBook for lunch. God, Riley. How do you feel after you say these things? Do you sit back and smile to yourself? I hope you don't. I really hope you don't. I want you to know that that was terrible. I want you to feel it in your heart that that was terrible. But I don't feel like you will feel that. I feel like you're smiling right now with the satisfaction of knowing how terrible that was. Hmm, 100% correct. Yep. Yep, that does seem like something he would do. Well, I've got one more day to try and smash out as many Charmanders as I can. So, who knows, maybe tomorrow's the day. Maybe it isn't. Chumbawumbered the chat yesterday. I don't even know what that means, Riley, I'm gonna be honest with you. Chumbawumbered them. Am I about to get chumbawumbered by asking that? Oh, the band. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Makes sense. You know, Andromeda grows Night after Hollow Knight and Silk Song's coming out in 11 days. I've heard about the game drop done. It's like the DLC everyone's been waiting for like forever, right? I've never played Hollow Knight. But I've seen gameplay of it. Dun, 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 dun. It's like with... There's so many games that I heard were really good that I never played. Like Hollow Knight and Celeste in my mind are like platformery style games that everyone raves about, but I never really tried either of them. You were playing Hollow Knight in anticipation, you can't wait. Yeah, I see, like, every time there was any type of, like, game reveal, like, event, like, my whole Twitter would just be, like, people saying, like, Hollow Knight, when is Silksong, maybe Silksong's coming with this, so, like, I felt like there was a hype for that for, like, ages, though, like, I feel like this went on for, like, forever. Alright, we got one more egg to go, and then that is it for the stream. Let's see if we get ourselves another chance to check a Charmander for the end. I doubt it, but you never know. Right. Nada, unfortunately. Well, thanks everyone for watching. I know I need to get better at like scheduling in streams or like find a somewhat consistent time slot. I've kind of just been like winging them in wherever I feel like it, which I appreciate is not the best. So I'll try and find like some type of consistency with it at some point. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. It's been a fun one. You've made my egg grind a little bit less boring, so it's appreciated. See you later, Riley. See you later, Edix, Joplin, Don, everybody, Scorpet, and anyone else that I've missed. Sorry. I will see you all later.